How's it going, everybody? It's been a number of weeks, I think two to be exact, since we've last recorded. This is Critical. I'm Mongo, joined as always by my co-host Liger Boost. So we're going to be talking all sorts of things today, but arguably most importantly is uh, Zombie Sailor Toys Pinnacle Collection Series 1 is in hand for both of us. Well, one particular in figure for both of us. One figure in particular. I'll learn English
I've
eventually. Uh, anyway, how have you been since the last time we spoke?
been pretty good. I'm trying to remember what happened since the last time we spoke. Uh, I think I went to a drag show since the last episode. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
What else did I do?
I can tell you
Uh,
what I did. I worked like 9 out of 10 days straight. Caught a stomach bug, yucked my guts out on Thursday, and
yeah,
got
that
an early start
sucks.
to my long weekend. And I had a doctor's appointment on Friday, and I was like so worried that they were going to be like, "You've gained 40 pounds or whatever." I gained 3,
No,
which, given how stupid I had been about eating lately, I'll take a 3 pound gain. That's a
yeah.
victory at this point. Yeah,
I'm
and
just
McDonald's breakfast twice a week. It's probably not good.
I'm just trying to think of what else. So first of all, me and a friend went to Golden Girls like drag show, which is just like an episode of the Golden Girls on stage, which was quite fun. And like after that, we went to a bar and they were doing like open mic stand up, and it was goddamn fucking terrible. It was all like Epstein and just like current events, and I was like, holy shit, these guys suck. And yeah, I think we went to the drag show like the next week, and I'm going to I think I'm going to like a Michael Jackson impersonator thing in April, so that should be fun. I was gonna go to like this rock orchestra where it's like, they have a big orchestra and they perform all these these different rock songs, and I think the tickets were like $65, but when you add all like the Ticketmaster fees and shit, it was like 85, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me! It's
Ugh.
ridiculous,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
insane.
crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking of tickets, my friend got us the tickets for the opening night of the G1, and
nice.
I was gobsmacked by how affordable those tickets were. It's like 45 bucks, which isn't bad. But like the next section over from us, because I just got nosy, was like, I wonder how expensive everything else is. It's like 80 bucks for the same row, one section over, like 60,
Ooh,
one of the two. And
why
I
do
was
they
like,
book such
"Ugh,
large venues?
I don't fucking know. I mean, if they do as well as they did at Windy City Riot last year for this one,
Yeah,
that's probably a victory.
it
Um,
just it looks bad when you watch their shows and the house lights are like, it looks like they're wrestling in like a black void anyway because you can't really see anything.
yeah.
It's like
Well,
why
I
did you
think
even
they
bother?
they learned their lesson from that time they booked the American Airlines Center and got fucked by WWE putting a Raw there 2 days later, and they drew like 6,000 people.
Yeah,
It was like broad daylight. I felt so bad for them watching that because that, like Tanahashi was like always chasing after that one big main event in America with like the big crowd. He didn't get it there.
mm,
He did get it 3 years later at Forbidden Door. I was there for it. I don't
yeah.
really that big Tanahashi fan, but that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, like if they get like 5,000, that's probably a victory. So the initial estimate from WrestleTix was like just a hair under like I think like 1,900 or 2,000. It was either
Okay.
1880 or 1980. And I saw
Mm,
people like, well, this is a horrible first count, and it's like they haven't announced anything yet.
that's true. Yeah.
You've got like the sub 2,000 hardcores that are like, fuck yeah, first night of the G1 in the US. And then you've got the rest of the people that are probably interested that are waiting to see one, who the blocks are, and B, what tournament matches we get.
Yeah. Not everything draws like show name alone. A lot of people are waiting to see who's actually on it.
Right. Though there was a period like 7, 8, 9 years ago where the opening night of the G1 in the US would have been an advanced sellout.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, probably they probably would have just needed to flash the graphic and an on sale date and it would have been over.
Yeah, I didn't
But
necessarily need to know the lineup of the G1 Supercard. I just knew I was going. That was it.
well, yeah, I mean, New Japan as like the other part of the billing at fucking Madison Square Garden, it doesn't matter. I would have gone to if I had the means.
Yeah.
Instead, I was behind the photo desk at Walmart for like an hour of that show before I got to go home, and goddamn did that show run long.
That was a weird day because like I'm sitting there and the guy next to me is like, "Oh my god, someone attacked Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "Huh? What?" And like that's when
Oh, right, that was that year.
yeah, and that was when Enzo and Cass came out the crowd, and it's like, well, just based on the Bret Hart thing, we're like, is this real? Like, we didn't really know what was going on, even though obviously it's part of the show. But we're just like, what the hell's happening in wrestling right now? It was so confusing. Just sitting there, like, I came right from House of Glory. I actually had to go back to my hotel room, and the key wouldn't work, so they had to follow me up to the room to verify my identity because I didn't have anything on me. And then I basically speed walked all the way through Manhattan to get to Madison Square Garden, and I was just like out of it. And the guy, I was at House of Glory to see Muta, and the guy was like, "Oh, great, Muta was in the Battle Royal," and I was like, "What?" Okay,
Yeah, you heard that right, folks. The Great Muta and also Jushin Thunder Liger made their only appearance ever at Madison Square Garden in a battle royal won by Kenny King.
yep, that's right.
2019 ROH, everybody. Do you ever think about how they dodged a fucking bullet by having shitty ass Matt Taven win that ladder match and not Marty Scurll?
Oh God, yeah,
Like, there was an argument to be made at the time, like the fucking Umbrella Predator was like absolutely the right guy to go with because he was the only one that didn't fucking get signed by AEW from their little group, and gee, I wonder why. And like he was over to that audience, and I remember everybody. I was in a big Discord group call for that, and everybody was just like, they really put the fucking belt on Matt Taven.
yeah. I think
Oh god.
everyone in the arena sort of had the same reaction.
Yeah, who was it? Was it Lethal, Taven, and fucking Skrull?
I think so. Sounds about
Yeah,
right.
Matt Taven's probably the best option out of those three.
Probably.
Jesus Christ. That's what happens when you let one group of guys just completely dog walk your roster for 2 years and then they leave to go form another company and you're left with,
The
you know,
scraps. Yeah.
yeah. They should have found a way to get Jeff Cobb into that match for fuck's sake.
Yeah, probably.
That was about the only singles guy ROH had because the Briscoes were a tag team like full time at that point. Otherwise, I would have said just give Jay Briscoe the belt because just give Jay Briscoe the belt.
It was like a weird roster at that point. You had, I think, Mayu Iwatani was like the women's champion. I remember like on the left side of us, there was like all the Stardom roster was there, and they were cheering her on. I think Hana Kimura and Kogetsu were in the pre-show match too, if I remember right.
I believe so. Yeah, I think they wrestled like Jenny Rose. I think was the girl's name, and I don't
Yeah, and
remember who
like,
the other girl
wasn't that the
was.
show they had like the beautiful people debuted on because that's who you want on your roster.
They either debuted on that show or they did like an angle on that show and they were already around.
I think they debuted because I was like, oh no, because like them and Enzo and Cass on the same show, and I was like, what am I doing here?
There was a point in time where I would have been genuinely happy to see Velvet Sky, but that was like 2008.
I was walking like in front of them, or behind them? No, in front of them at the WrestleCon. It must have looked like security or something because I was like, they were like slowly coming in. I was like, I just walked in front. Somebody got
That
stuck
that
on somebody got stuck on an escalator. It was some luchador. I can't remember who it was, but like stopped as he
oh
was coming down it.
oh yeah, I hate escalators, bro. I do not trust them. I had to get on one at the Cincinnati Zoo, and I was just like, well, because yeah, you can just like step forward onto the last step and it'll automatically move you. My dumb ass was like, I'm gonna step up onto this thing. Not a great idea.
Yeah,
It worked, but not a great idea.
I
When we
was like
came back
this.
down, I just took the regular steps.
I was like escalators as a kid. I would like jump off at the very last second because I was a kid.
Oh man, Mania weekend 2019 was something. I still have not seen like really anything from that Mania. The big winner for me that weekend was GCW booking LA Park versus Masada Tanaka.
So I was late getting to that show, and that match was actually happening as I got there, and I had like a second row seat. I never got to see it because they started the show and everyone had just taken whatever seat, so I was left standing at the back of the room, which well, not the back of the room, but like the back wall on like the left side, which sucked because I had a good seat, but there was a lot of mayhem on that show, so I was kind of happy I didn't sit there. I didn't want to get squashed by LA Park or anything.
No, that would not be good. Oh, by the way, the AAA channel on YouTube put up LA Park versus La Parka from Triple Mania 2010.
Oh, okay.
And I've never seen that match in that good of video quality. Like, I watched that thing when it aired on television and it didn't look that good. They cut out a lot of the post-match stuff. Unfortunately, you don't get the entrances with LA Park coming out to Bad to the Bone and Fake Parka, RIP, coming out to Thriller. But yeah, it was a weird throwback to where like Sunday afternoons at 4, I would just invade the living room and watch Lucha on Galavision with my mom.
Yeah.
And then they would switch intermittently between AAA and CMLL towards the end. And the last episode I remember was like right before WrestleMania in 2011. Like that day at 4:00, they aired like a La Sombra Shinsuke Nakamura match.
Nice.
And then I kept checking the channel guide and like, oh no more Lucha Libre. I have a hankering to download Heroes del Ring on the Steam Deck because I found out that TNA Impact runs flawlessly in our RPCS3.
I was thinking about that game the other day because me and Trauma Taker from Fair Pro Club at one point were in like the top 10 because it felt like we were the only people playing it on the Xbox 360, and I always wondered like where do we stand now if it's even possible to see. I know at one point we had fell out of the top 10, but yeah, I was very curious the other day.
It's so weird to think they were not airing their television in HD at that point, but they were releasing a next-gen console game.
Yeah, that game was wild. I appreciate that game more than I probably should. Just the idea that it was developed by a team in Mexico and they were actually able to release it on multiple consoles. I think it was, at the time, it felt like a pretty cool achievement, accomplishment.
Oh, for sure. Like, I never thought we were... There'd never been a Lucha Libre video game.
Right, yeah.
And there's likely never going to be one again. And like, yeah. I was such a big fan of that era of AAA, and it had fucking everybody I liked, pretty much.
And yeah, and like the theme songs took me back to like the ECW games of how they sounded a lot like the actual songs, but like were obviously just like rip-offs. I thought was really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know people are like, oh, this game sucks. Me and Trauma Taker had a lot of fun. I think he stole my mask at one point because that was a feature you could do online. But
yeah, you took your created guy online and you could do Apuesta matches, which I always thought that was such a cool idea.
Yeah, it was really neat.
And for people that don't know, one day we'll cover the game when I'm able to reliably emulate it. But Mexican bootleg TNA Impact sounds like I'm doing a bit, but that's exactly what it was. It looked and felt exactly like Impact, just a little bit jankier. Like it didn't have as much like quality control going on. It's a fun game.
The animations.
Yeah, like you can have fun with that game.
Oh yeah, like I haven't played it.
It's not bad.
I remember when you figured out the reversals. At that point, it was just like pretty easy. But yeah, I haven't played it in a while. I completely forgot too that they released it on the Wii as well, because I was looking at the Wii listings and I was like, oh yeah, they had that on there too.
I don't remember if that actually ended up shipping, because the Wii and PSP games, I remember there was a guy on one of the Phil Singer Games board that was like, those are the only systems I own, and these keep showing out of stock on Amazon. And it was like a year after that game came out, and I was like, I don't think those ones ever launched.
I want to say the Wii game because I actually saw a ROM of it.
Interesting. I had no memory of that one coming out. I know the PSP one did, for sure.
Yeah, it came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 on October 12th, 2010. the Wii version was released. I guess maybe this year it just says Mexico. So May 28th, 2011. So I guess it was just in Mexico.
Huh. That game's so neat, man. Like, it's not fully featured, it's not the most polished, but like, it's a game with fucking electroshock.
Yeah.
And you have Dr. Wagner Jr. Silver King is in the game, which is cool. Messias is in the game. Chessman's in the game. Psycho Clown is in the game, so you don't have to play the Fed game to play Psycho Clown. You
Yeah,
can play a game that's less shitty.
that was wild when he was announced for actually 2K26. I was like, holy shit! Yeah, remember the only game he's been in is AAA. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, the monopolization, if that's a word, of wrestling video games over the last 25 years has been a net negative for all of us.
Yeah, horrible.
I did start playing, as I mentioned, TNA Impact on the Steam Deck again. And like, listen, I'm a big All Stars guy, and that game obviously has a lot of the TNA Impact DNA. But like, if they could have done a sequel to Impact where they were going to have the bigger move sets with the double team moves and the 6 sides of steel, that would probably have been like an all timer of a wrestling game because Impact's gameplay is awesome. That game is so much fucking fun.
Yeah, it's
And we
been a
didn't get the
while
sequel.
since I played it, but yeah, it was definitely a shame that the moveset was so limited. But yeah, as you said, it's almost like Fight Forever in a way, you know. If we talk about like
Yeah.
a bunch of moves missing and a bunch of features missing, but yeah, if they were able to do a sequel and they had all those stuff that we wanted, then yeah, maybe they could have been something special.
And also, that game was going to have Jim Cornette, so you could export Jim Cornette into like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
The road
make him
not
go,
traveled.
make him go to Burger Shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh Christ. You sent me the thing. We'll talk about this real quick before we get to like all the other assorted nonsense. Kenny Omega was like, we had Gaeta-san as the director, but I always wished he had more control over the game. I'm paraphrasing.
Hmm.
And like, you guys were the ones that commissioned the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that you think that would have been in your control if you wanted them to have more say, right? Um, what I'm curious about is like, I don't know, what would he really, other than being like, hey, this is what I would do. Like, I don't think he would be hands on
If he
necessarily.
was the
And like,
director, he would be.
it's just because the last game he worked on, I was looking it up. He was like like a Dragon, I think PSP game in like 2010. So I was like,
Beast.
that's like a long time. So how would he fare? You know, developing today, I guess you could say.
I mean, if he's the director, he's the one who has like the overall vision for the game, and his job
Right.
is to make sure everybody delivers on it. So I think he probably would have just sat everybody down with a copy of fucking Def Jam, like, okay, we're gonna play this until you guys get it.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be down with putting a bunch of mini games in. So maybe you should have listened to him some more.
Yeah, well, there were people that were making thinly veiled comments the entire time Fight Forever was in development. The like Gaeta-san was showing up like once every couple of months at Ukes and just kind of nodding, and then they wouldn't see him again for a while.
I don't know. That sounds like the best job one could have. He was probably happy with that.
Yeah, we know that the relationship with Ukes and AEW is rocky, to put it
Yeah.
mildly. AEW, as of the last time I heard anything, were adamant that they had the source code for Fight Forever, and that's what the sequel was going to be built on. If you're going to hand it off to a developer that doesn't have any experience, and let's be perfectly clear here, there are 2 development teams on the planet with experience developing wrestling games. They're probably not going to go with one of them, and the other is Spike Chunsoft, and I don't think they want to make an Aki game.
No.
So
Yeah.
you're going to pass it off to an inexperienced developer. You're going to need Gaeta-san, and I would go fucking pay Sanders Keel whatever it takes.
It's very hard for me to picture another AEW game. I don't know. I just like it's got to be different than Fight Forever, and I don't know. At least in my opinion. I mean, they could go with more like a stylistic look again, but I don't know. I just can't right now. I just can't say with what happened with Fight Forever. I just can't be like, oh yeah, I can see another AEW coming. Like, at least right now, like still feel like we're gonna be like a few years away, right? Um, so I don't know. We'll see if anything happens. I am curious as to what happens with Ukes because they had that which didn't fare very well, and they had Double Dragon which didn't fare very well. So what do they do next?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Ideally, but I mean, we'll
That
see.
was allegedly what the Osaka studio was working on like 6 years ago.
Ugh. I wonder what that would have been like. Like, would we just have another like Wrestle Kingdom esque game, or would we had something like fairly different?
I mean, I would gladly take. Listen, Wrestle Kingdom gameplay still exponentially better than what fucking 2K is offering.
Yeah, but if it's Ukes and New Japan, I would want something to be like close at this point to be like feel more like a successor to Tokon Retsuden than another Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, that's a weird game because it has stuff like Tokon has gameplay quirks that only existed back then, like the groggy grapples and shit.
True, yeah.
And I don't know if you could. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to the Western audience because like it would just be the fucking weirdos like us buying it.
Mm.
But like somebody who plays 2K and likes New Japan, which is probably not that many, but picking that game up and being like, what do you mean I can't do like the fucking. I'm trying to think of somebody in New Japan. Like, I can't do the fucking gene blast to my opponent unless they're staggering. Like, that's not how that works. I can just use Yoda Suji in 2K and run at my opponent and press the buttons, and I can do the gene blast.
Right, I can give myself multiple finishes at the start of the match and do whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? At
I
the
would
end of
take
the day,
either of those. Like a Tokon reboot or Wrestle Kingdom. At this point, I do not care.
well, I'm not like the biggest fan of Wrestle Kingdom as well, and when I think of like Tokon, I just think of like a more lively game as opposed to like I bring it up every time, but the audio in that game was like almost non-existent.
Yeah, the
And
sound design sucks.
yeah,
Gameplay's good
absolutely.
though.
I wouldn't say it's like terrible or even bad. Really, it's just not what I want personally. Um, but yeah, you know what? At this point, I'd probably just take anything. It's like just somebody give us something. I'm desperate, please. I need my fix.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not putting hands on a Fed game ever again.
I didn't buy. I have no plans to buy 2K26. I was I bought Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate or whatever it's called on the Switch 2 the other day because it was on sale, and I was looking at that game and I was like, God damn, this is a good looking game, and it just made me think of like I wish Square was back in the wrestling space again because the game would look absolutely gorgeous, and then if you had like a solid foundation around it, like that could be really special. But I don't think we'll be getting an All-Star 4 anytime soon. Ever probably.
No, I think the ship's probably sailed, to be
But Steve
honest.
Corino said he's doing mocap.
Well, he probably was at one point.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, we all love those games from that era, but the reality is they did not sell very well.
No, it's kind of a miracle that we got 3 of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and like it's kind of a miracle we got KOC 2, and to an extent, I mean KOC 2 flopping the way it did because I think I've read like under 100,000 copies or under 200 for that game. Like that game flopping as hard as it did is probably why we got Fire Pro Returns and not King of Colosseum 3.
Yeah, definitely.
And every time I remember when I was on Twitter, Matsumoto would post something hinting at Fire Pro, and they'd be like, "Make King of Colosseum 3, you cowards!" And it's like, well, one, doing it that way is not gonna fucking get you anything, and two, do that game that lost the company you work for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not a great sales pitch. I love KOC 2,
It's
but
I don't know if you've seen, but they're doing a KOC tournament on KOC 2 tournament on the AEW Games YouTube channel.
Yeah,
And
Wrestling Figure News sent me a video of it, and I didn't even watch it. I was like, yeah, I've heard they make the game look really shitty in all of these videos.
well, here's the thing. I appreciate like they're playing it, but like this isn't a button mash. Like you're doing, it's cool that you're exposing people to this game, but at the same time, you're doing it a massive disservice by putting the controller in the hands of people that are just like, oh, I'm just pressing the buttons because it's King of Colosseum 2. Like, if you want to show off the game, and you can have fun by actually having competitive matches and doing moves. Like, they had Blake Christian against Marcus Quinn, and Blake Christian won, and he was just doing like kicks with Kobashi. And like the big spot at the end was he did a superplex and did the pin. But it was like, these guys actually have move sets. You could do burning hammers, you could do burning lariats, you can do the orange crush, you can do everything Kobashi does. But because people aren't bothered to learn the game, you're just doing kicks and punches and mashing the buttons, and it's just like, dude, it's so sad to see. It's like you can't play King of Colosseum 2 like that. You're doing it a huge disservice.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this 3 years ago. Remember, they put Fight Forever in the hands, and that's a much, much less complex game. They put Fight Forever in the hands of people that like had no fucking clue what they were doing, and it made the game look
Yeah.
like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all due respect to them, they put the controller in like Brody Jr.'s hands, and it didn't seem like he'd ever played it before. And it was like, I appreciate the idea, but you're not selling this game to anybody that isn't already gonna fucking buy it. You should probably. I mean, the marketing of that game was fucking terrible anyway. Like THQ Nordic didn't want to show anything until fucking Double or Nothing, and AEW are just horrible at marketing anything.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
created this wonderful scenario of like matter and antimatter colliding.
the best salesman for that game again was like New Legacy, because
Yep.
they're the ones that showed off all these weapons and stuff that were in it, and the skateboard and all this, and it was like, holy shit, this game looks insane. And I think that put a good number of eyes on it. It's the same with 2K26. Like, I didn't buy it, but when I was seeing them do all these like endorphin style bumps and everything, I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. So if you want somebody to show off your game, definitely put it in the hands of a New Legacy, because they'll do a pretty good job of it, or they'll completely break it one way or the other.
And one could argue they're kind of one and the same in some
Pretty
ways.
much, yeah.
Oh, I saw the 2K YouTubers having a real hard time trying to like justify making content for 2K. I watched that fucking Assemble guy who looks like a cross between LA Knight and my childhood doctor, and it's the funniest fucking thing when I watch him. He's trying to be like, I'm okay with criticism as long as it's constructive. No, at this point we're past constructive criticism. You guys need to call them out. Fuck losing access. Fuck being sellouts. Fuck being like spineless douchebags. They're purposely implementing a fucking monetization scheme that's going to funnel people towards spending far more money than they need to get content they've technically already paid for.
Yep. I'm very curious as to how that game is selling, because I did hear, I think it was on like, I didn't fully go into the post, but there was like a Reddit post, I think, that said the Steam player base wasn't very good. And I just don't see people talking about it like you usually would, at least in my experience. I know people are accusing like the WWE Games Twitter account and the developer personal accounts of being very quiet. So yeah, I'm curious as to see how it actually does this year.
Yeah, the only thing I was able to find is that I guess in the UK, the majority of copies are selling on the PS5, which doesn't shock me.
No, yeah.
I think moving towards a live service model probably for that series makes a lot of sense, but not if you're going to do $70 for a yearly game or $150 for a premium edition. Where I guess if you bought the Monday Night War edition, basically everybody that's on the cover of that thing is fucking locked.
Of course, yeah.
And I know I talked about it the last time we recorded, but I was talking with my friend Steve. from he lives in Toronto. Shout outs Fat Steve. Like, if you have a spouse and a full-time job, you don't have the time to grind. And I was like, yeah, that's why they put the tier skips there, so you'll spend the money.
Mm.
And I was looking at the roster for TNA Impact, and make no mistake, they lock a lot of those characters behind that story mode. But like, they're not asking me to spend an extra $2 per character, essentially.
Right.
Like, I mean, I also can just, it's a PS3 game. I can go find a completed save file. I did that like 18 years ago. 16 years ago, rather. Yeah, because the game came out 18 years ago. Regardless, I found a completed save and I was playing as Loki. Life was good. And then I heard Don West's fucking like 70s porn theme, and I was like, he's the best character in the game, obviously. But
Yeah, that's something I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter. I was like, I have kids, I have a wife, I don't have the time to spend on this game. And you always get the idiots that try to defend it, like, well, if you really like the game, you'd play it. I don't know. People are
well, that's my
crazy.
problem. I really don't like the game. I just want to have all my content.
Yeah.
Would be my argument. Also, like the XP resetting with each season, so you have to do that grind 6 times.
Yeah. No way.
Fuck that. No chance in hell.
I don't even know what like the mod situation's like. I've heard that they were able to add like, I think it was Tribute said that each wrestler could have each default wrestler could have 11 attires this year. I think it was like 8 or something last year, maybe. But I don't know as in regards to like, I don't think they've released a version for 2K26 or anything like that. So I don't know how that stuff is going, but I guess they're still working on it.
Well, hopefully the modders don't get completely fucked over this year. I guess I can't justify fucking playing those games anymore. I don't watch the product. I don't care.
You're not into Jelly Roll?
I hate that I know who he is in general.
That dude's ugly, and I feel like he would be someone that would have gotten squashed by the Road Warriors and like quit the business the same day. He looks like that
Yeah, but
type.
we don't have squash matches like that anymore.
No, and he's a celebrity, so he has to beat, the main talent. And why don't they just turn it into celebrity deathmatch? Just like get rid of all the trained wrestlers and just do what you really want to do.
Yeah, wasn't it Kenny Omega that said like this feels like the next evolution of the business in a bad way, where you're just having celebrities as like your top stars.
He said something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine if in like fucking 1999 they had like goddamn Toby Keith in like featured angles.
Yeah.
You know what? That's an insult to Toby Keith. He made way better music than that fucking Jelly Roll guy. He's
TNA
probably
wasn't around yet.
no, and he shows up and he does what, the fucking suplex to Jeff Jarrett.
Yep.
Yeah, he would have been a better pick for a top guy than fucking Jeff Jarrett. Oh, before we talk about the Pinnacle figures, so I watched the 2-hour primetime special they did November 3rd, 05, because I hadn't seen it in years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching with a friend of mine who was born like in 99, so he has no frame of reference for like the shit that was going on in 05. And I forgot during that show, they're really pushing the like call your friends and tell them like to turn on Spike TV and watch this great match or whatever. The main event of that show is Jeff Jarrett beating Rhino for the NWA title. It was taped like 2 days after Rhino beat Jarrett, but it aired like 10 days later or whatever.
Yeah.
And
It didn't.
I was like, imagine if like you called your friend that hadn't watched wrestling in a couple of years and they see that really good X Division 6-man tag, or they see like Ultimate X, like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. And then the main event is a guy that if the last time you saw him was in the WWF, he was getting beat by China. Or if the last time you saw him was WCW, he was a guy where you were like, that guy got beat by China. Why the fuck is he the WCW champion? And he's beating, you might not even have had a clue who Rhino was, but like fucking look at him. Obviously, that guy's, there's something there, right?
Right.
And fucking Jeff Jarrett beats him, and that's their world champion. I would never, if I was a lapsed fan at that point and I tuned in to see that, I would have fucking, I would, no, I'm done. Like, I get that it's like, I love Jeff Jarrett now, And I get that, like, people ironically are like, oh, you're king of the mountain, Bree woo, all that shit. Doing that whitewashes how harmful him as a top guy was to TNA for fucking years. I tried to get people to watch, like other kids I knew, to watch TNA for like the longest when they were on FSN, when they got on Spike. And they would see him with the world title and they would just be like, that guy's the world champion. I'm not watching this.
Yeah, it's definitely understandable. I would have seen where they were coming from. I mean, I watched it because I liked wrestling so
Yeah,
much
me
that
too.
I didn't like Jeff Jarrett, but I was like, well, I love wrestling, so and there's all these other guys. But from like the standpoint of someone like that can come and go, if I saw him as champion, I'd probably been like, no, thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I love Jeffy now. Ain't he fucking great? But like mid 2000s, his reign of terror is worse than the Triple H one, only because TNA was supposed to be the alternative. So
Yeah,
when
and they
you
were doing the
watch the
same thing.
alternative, yeah, and it's not even just that they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing with a guy who was basically a career mid carder everywhere else. It makes everybody involved look fucking minor league.
Yeah.
Like Jarrett's a great worker. Like I'll never take that away from him. But like when my older cousins who hadn't watched wrestling in years were over at my house when I was watching like a pay-per-view replay, the first thing I heard was that fucking guy is the world champion. Everybody here must suck. And I was like, AJ Styles is really good. Like it reminds me of like when my friend Scott and I were playing SmackDown 09 and he was like, so who's the world champion now? Because he didn't know they had two. And I was like, well, as fucking Batista, or whoever's the champion on Raw. And I told him Edge was the champion on SmackDown. He was like, the guy that used to fucking come in through the crowd. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, God, wrestling must suck now.
Wow.
Because like he hated Edge. He was right. I mean, Edge sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He has like one, maybe two good singles matches ever. One's with Eddie, the other somehow with John Cena.
To be fair to Edge, though, like that's a guy that started off when he was younger, and they built him up from IC title to world. It's like, but Jeff Jarrett was like he had been around for like forever. Obviously, he was at the Double J and like when did he come into WWF originally? Like 93, 94, 95?
93.
93. So, and then he left to go to WCW, and then he always felt like a mid-card guy. And so when you put him in the world title, it was like, what the hell is going on? But with Edge, I could see the progression from, like IC title to world at least.
Yeah. He's also a guy that, and I felt this way about him when I was a teenager, and I didn't even really dislike him that much. But he's a guy when you looked at when he became the top heel, it's like, if so many other people didn't leave, would he actually be in the spot?
Right, yeah.
Like, I know Heyman really wanted to set him up with like Brock in 03, and then Edge got the fucked up neck, and then Angle came back early from the neck injury because Edge was going to be out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, let's be honest. Real life circumstances helped him a hell of a lot in his career.
Yeah, and also, does he get the top heel spot he gets if he doesn't, have the affair with Lita?
I don't think he would have been a heel. I think they would have tried to have him go as babyface and maybe forced a position him at heel at some point.
God, you know what? If he would have gotten a main event babyface push, Triple H would have killed him.
Yeah, likely.
Quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the shit at going into Backlash 06. Oh, you were world champion? Oh, I took a nap for 20 minutes, missed the whole damn thing.
Jesus. Didn't they have a heel versus heel match in Japan?
Yeah, oh God, yeah, that's on the WWE Vault YouTube page. That was when I was like kind of not going to school in 7th grade, but I would never stay up to watch the end of Raw because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
People have this weird idea that that's a great match, like a classic TV match. I've never watched it. I'm kind of scared to. Because the kind of people that think Triple H has classic matches are the kind of people that think like Roman Reigns is an all-time great. And I mean, maybe I'll watch it eventually. I don't recreationally watch Triple H matches.
I'll tell you what I've been watching. I've been watching ECW from the beginning. So starting with
Oh, it's
like
brutal.
the best of '92, and that stuff was quite brutal. And '93,
Are you doing the commercial tapes too, or just TV?
yeah, the commercial tapes as well. Um, like everything that's on ReCDub and like all the fan cams that I could find and everything. Um, the stars at the beginning are definitely and shockingly right. Terry Funk and Eddie Gilbert. They're like the two people that like, if you want to watch it, it's because of these guys. And in '93, things start to come along a bit better, and then you see like Eddie Gilbert's gone and Heyman comes in, and you see the changes in like the video packages have more modern music and stuff. And I watched the night the line was crossed. And so I didn't watch the main event because I really wasn't in the mood to watch a 60-minute match.
That match
But
is the best thing on that show by a mile, by the way.
oh yeah, I'm sure it is. But I was just like, man, I've seen this match before. Like that's the match I saw when I was a kid, and when we went for to England, and I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was like my grandfather had passed, or if it was just when we were going for vacation, whatever the case may be. But it was something that my brother showed me at the time. And after the match, they have these promos, and Terry Funk had like sort of turned at the point, he attacked like the Sandman and JT Smith but after this match, he's just wrestled a 60-minute match, and he's just doing like this emotional promo talking about how he respects Shane Douglas and Sabu, and he's talking about like the damage that WWF and WCW do to pro wrestling, and how he really loves ECW, and he's attacked these baby faces, but he's just a crazy old man, and this is him in like his emotional moment, just loving wrestling. And then they do the promo with Shane Douglas, and he's obsessed with becoming world champion, and he's like, I don't give a shit about Terry Funk and all this. And then Funk comes in, he's like, I respected you up, I gave you my respect, and they get into a brawl and everything. And it's so funny because I probably haven't seen this stuff since I was a kid, but I vividly remember these promos, and they were so fucking good. They're so good because it's so simple to understand, right? Like Terry Funk, this old veteran, and he's crazy, but he loves wrestling, and he's just like, oh, I respect these guys for putting on this match, and yada yada. And Shane Douglas, who is this guy that's never been world champion, and that's the one thing he wants, right? He's obsessed with it, and it's just like this shit is so simple, and these guys are so good at it. And I was like, God damn, it was like the best promos I had seen in like a long time, Um, but yeah, that sort of convinced me to keep going with '94, and uh, it's funny to look at some of that stuff. I remember JT Smith as sort of like the botchy guy. Like I think he botches, and like that becomes his thing. But you look at it at the time, and like it seemed like they were really behind him as pushing him like a future star, and they like try to kill him so much. Like he does the scaffold bump, and then he does the bump off the eagle's nest. It was Dog Patriot, Doug Gilbert, like throws him off, and then Doug Gilbert does like a double axe handle from the eagle's nest as well onto him, and then this is like I talked about it on social media, but the Meg Awesome match, where I think everyone knows the dive from Meg Awesome, and JT's back goes against the barricade, but what they don't bring up is like Meg Awesome actually loses that match by Schoolboy. And then after the match, he powerbombs the referee twice, and then he goes to do the big splash from the top rope, and the top rope breaks on him, and he just falls face first on the mat, and you just hear like thump, and the crowd sort of like laughs, and it's like Mike Awesome looked like the biggest star in that match, and they're cheering his name and going crazy, and then the end of this match kind of looks like a goof. It's kind of sad. And it's so weird to see Mike Awesome in ECW in '94 as well, right? Because it's
Yeah, like
it's
that. It's the arena, but it's not really the arena. Like those '94 shows look way different.
yeah, definitely. And it's like that he's going to be like the big star or like one in the next 4 years, but to see him now, it's like, what are you doing here? Like it feels like he's gone back in time and showed up early or something. It's like you shouldn't be here. So in that respect, it was kind of funny, but yeah, it's definitely gotten better in the year 1994, and it's so interesting to watch. Like seeing the debut of like Mikey Whipwreck, and there's like him and another guy is like a tag team called the Young Dragons, where they wear masks and gis, and they like get squashed by the Bruise Brothers. It's like, I never knew about this stuff. It's wild.
Yeah, 94 ECW is a trip. I'll say this about the night the line was crossed. I watched that full show with a friend of mine, God, 5 years ago now. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you like it's an amazing show, but if you watch that show in the context of what the two big promotions looked like in 1994, it's very easy to figure out why the smart fans looked at ECW and were like, no, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's violent. It doesn't look good. Like, the shows look like shit, but that's always. If you're watching ECW expecting production value, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Um, but like it's gritty and it's raw and it's violent and it feels real in a way that the WWF never has and never will, and in a way WCW it was real in a different way than like 80s like Crockett was kind of real.
Right.
Like it feels less like characters and more like actual people who have like issues and fucking problems, whereas like
Oh yeah.
Crockett in the
Yeah.
80s was that, but like these guys are obviously kind of cartoon characters.
Yeah. Like I said, that is like the main event. It was like so easy to understand, like the issues with Shane Douglas and Terry Funk. Of course, you've got Sabu that comes out dressed like Hannibal Lecter with the mask on, and he's crazy and out of his mind. But he's
He
a bit
hated that shit.
he's a bit over the edge. But those two are like they feel like humans, and that was those promos really just blew me away. I was like, holy shit! Like I remember this from when I was a kid, and like they say it's like a press conference, and you know that there's probably no one in the room except for like Bill Apter, because they don't show them at all, right? It's just them talking to the camera, and it's just it was just really cool.
Yeah, and ECW stays like that basically the entire time.
Yeah,
Like everybody's motivations, every storyline, every angle, it's all very. There's no subtlety, which I mean, it's a 90s wrestling promotion. Subtleties for the week was, I think, the mindset at the time. But like, it's so easy to follow along everything, even when ECW TV goes off a cliff on like the back half of 97 and like the first half of 98. And you can make the argument for like all of 99 prior to TNN. It's still a super easy show to watch because everything is fucking simple. Everything makes some degree of sense.
Mm.
You
And,
don't
and,
really feel like you've wasted an hour on an episode of ECW TV because the way it's paced and everything is tremendous.
and if you're watching like the Supercards in '94, the TV is going to take up like 15 minutes of your time because a lot of it is just recap. So
Yeah.
they'll just replay the matches that you've already seen. So like you've really got not a lot left for the TV. You get like the Matty in the house chilling T-shirts and like Jason doing a promo and stuff. Who's really funny. But you know who I love is Hunter Q Robbins III, like the best hunter in wrestling, if you ask me.
Oh Lord. Oh, you know what I've been watching recently a little bit? Since they migrated all the NXT stuff to YouTube, I watched NXT. Would
Oh
you like to
really?
know the results of the findings of my fucking experiment here?
Sure.
So like we've always talked about like how like the thing that people said was like the show felt different from the main roster. You
Mm.
want to know how fucking insane I am? I watched full episodes of NXT from 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and I
Holy
dug
shit.
up full episodes of Raw from 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah, what's
I
wrong with
watched
you?
a I watched a full takeover from 2015, 17, and 18, and I watched a full Fed pay-per-view from the same 3 years. My conclusion,
Uh huh.
my conclusion here is one, I'm fucking insane.
Yes.
Because that's like fucking 45 or whatever hours of my life I am never getting back.
No.
And second, NXT, other than the fact it's like big name indie stars having work rate matches, those shows were the exact same shit, like commentary, camera angles, video packages, graphic style. It was literally just like, hey, you've seen GIFs of ROH, but you don't want to watch ROH because you think you can only watch WWE? Come on over. Here's something that looks exact. And also, just to twist the knife, they fucking stole the black and yellow from OVW as a fuck you to Cornette and Danny Davis. Like, I'm not even saying any of this stuff is bad. Let me be
Right.
perfectly clear. I'm not saying the NXT was bad. There's some of it I think is aged poorly, but I tried watching American Alpha and The Revival, 2 out of 3 falls, and the camera cuts drove me fucking insane. And so, like, there was the Mustache Mountain versus Roddy and O'Reilly match from 2018. That was a full episode I watched.
Mhm.
They make it so hard to follow fucking literally anything happening in that match because there's 3 cuts on a body slam. And I was like, oh, you know what? It might not just be the stagnation of the product where they just looped into doing the same shit over and over. This production is probably the biggest reason why I fucking stopped. How the fuck am I supposed to know if the match is any good if I can't tell what's fucking going on?
What takeovers did you watch?
The one from 15. So I watched Brooklyn and I watched SummerSlam from the 3 years in question.
Which okay. I want to what the
Takeover one is Bailey and Sasha and Balor Owens in the ladder match.
right.
I cannot fucking tell you what happened on set. 18 has the really funny Ciampa Gargano match. And by
But
funny, I mean it's one of the worst matches ever.
that was during Mania weekend, right?
Oh, no, Brooklyn. They had like the last man standing match or whatever the fuck.
Oh, because what was the one? God damn it! Didn't they have one? Because it was like the WrestleMania that was in New Jersey.
That's 2019.
Oh, okay, because I went to a bunch of takeovers and I have no idea anymore. My ears are all fucked up.
I think Brooklyn in 2017 was McIntyre and Bobby Roode. Yeah, no, because this is where Undisputed Era fucking fully forms.
Okay,
And you have like Aleister Black working with fucking Kenta. Um, I didn't remember before I rewatched this that Andrade and Gargano had a match before the January 2018 one everybody liked.
did maybe Ciampa turn on Gargano during a Mania one?
May
I
Well, I
just
think they
remember.
have a match at the New Orleans.
Oh, okay, because I just remember like going to one and I think Gargano was in the main event and someone was handing out all the like the smiley face logos that he has.
He might have turned on Gargano around the time of like the what do you call it, the takeover in was it Toronto in 2018? I don't remember where Survivor Series 20 or
Maybe.
17 was. But yeah, so like my thing is the production makes me not want to rewatch any of the stuff, even the stuff I have fond memories of. Because
Mm.
like I really liked that takeover R Evolution. That was one of the takeovers I went back and watched. But I didn't watch an accompanying Fed pay-per-view because fuck 2014 Fed pay-per-views are not my thing. But like I spent so much time watching Fed programming from that era that I immediately had to detox by watching mid 2000s TNA and CZW in 1999 ECW. Because like you got to flush the bad out of your system. It's cool to see like that they hoarded all of that talent, and I'm not being facetious when I say that because we got action figures and video games and trading cards and all that stuff of those guys. But NXT also strip mined the indies and left them in a like basically NXT is the reason the indies are the way they are now, where like everybody kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like guys and girls aren't given a chance to really develop anymore. And it did a lot of harm. I understand why people still look back on it fondly. Make no mistake about it. I'm just saying, like, when I see that much footage of something available, I feel like a weird responsibility to take a look at it. And like, again, I'm not saying any of it's bad. Like, I think the FTR, the FTR American Alpha 2 out of 3 Falls match was certainly nowhere near as good as I remembered it being. But
I
that's not their fault.
we saw that when we went to NXT Dallas, and I think that was the opening match of that pay-per-view, and
That was a
that
great fucking match.
yeah, that show as a whole was really cool. I mean, the venue was really neat looking, and that was when obviously Nakamura and uh, Sami Zayn happened. So yeah, that was a really fun show.
I forgot that they had the second match. I thought was just on a regular TV, but it's on the takeover where Joe and Balor have the cage match or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back and watch that eventually. I remembered those matches being really good, but you know what really like hit me in the face like a ton of bricks when I watched that 2 out of 3 falls match?
Mhm.
Basically everything I thought was good about American Alpha is like a direct result of the revival.
Uh, yeah. I mean, they definitely had like crazy amount of chemistry, and it didn't help
Yeah,
that
like
the way like they were booked when they went to the main roster was pretty fucking terrible, from what I remember.
I'm just talking like watching the match. It's obvious that fucking FTR and they should have been because they were the vets, but like they're doing everything in that match.
Yeah.
Like everything is set up so that American Alpha look like fucking superstars. Which I mean, look at them. Look at both of them. I don't care how short Chad Gable is. There's that guy deserves a lot better than playing a fucking stupid racist gimmick. And
Mhm.
Jason Jordan deserved a lot better than his neck getting injured and him having to basically be. And I mean this with all due respect. Get a job that he's probably not actually qualified for in the sense of putting matches together. Although I guess in that company they're just going to tell you what they want, and then you tell the other people what they want, and then the slop gets fucking fully formed and it goes through the curtain. But like I was like, God, these guys. I thought these guys were like the best tag team in the world, and I realize now that they were probably just in the ring with the best tag team in the world.
Mhm.
And I remember at the time the Bucks versus FTR debate, and like I do not think the Bucks could have had matches that good with American Alpha.
No,
I
I
mean
don't
that
think
debate's
so.
still going on now,
It'd have been a very
but
different
like
match anyway. Obviously.
right, and like I saw there was a thread from Matt D on Twitter about like, and I don't really want to paraphrase it, but like they took the hot tag and made it something to get out of the way so you can just do finishers for like an extended period of time.
Mm.
And the Usos also kind of usher that in on like the more mainstream level. But yeah, that shit really does feel kind of harmful to tag team wrestling overall because it makes any criticism that someone like the fucking tennis racket guy would have about doing too much like, well, they get all these stars from Dave Meltzer. Like I don't care. Like their matches are boring. And you can talk about like, oh, they lost the crowd, but they got him back with that near fall. Yeah, but what does the crowd do when the near fall stops and they just start running spots again until there's the next near fall?
Mm.
It's just oh. Like if you can watch like the Midnights and the Fantastics, the one when the Midnights, the Fantastics show up and they beat the Midnights with the rocket launcher. If you can watch that match and how it's structured and how it's paced, and tell me you think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm not a big Young Bucks fan, but if you can watch that and then watch like the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express from fucking whatever pay per view that was last year where they went way too fucking long. And if you can watch both those matches and tell me you think the Young Bucks match is structured in a way that makes more sense and is more exciting, I don't know what to tell you. I don't need like 5,000 finishers.
Yeah.
If I'm watching a tag match, I want some like drama and some momentum shifts. And I kind of actually do like the hot tag. I think the hot tag really should matter in a tag match. It's not something to just kind of be discarded and fucking like, oh, let's get this out of the way because we had all our shit to fucking get in. Like, you know who didn't worry about getting their shit in? Fucking Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane.
Yeah, there's like a purpose to a hot tag, and I feel like in most recent modern wrestling, it doesn't feel like it just feels like something you have to do if you do it at
Yep.
all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do it, get it out of the way, and then we're gonna do our shit.
Yeah, and then usually when you see those, like the crowd doesn't react like how you want them to because you haven't earned it, essentially.
Yeah. No, there's speaking of things that happen before people have earned them, I hate the fucking New Japan Forearm Exchange. Guys have
Mm.
been doing that for like 13 years now, and it's like we have to do it because we've done a bunch of moves to each other. But like, you haven't sold the moves like they matter. So why
Yeah.
are you both exhausted 20 minutes into a match throwing forearms, and then they get back up and they start running spots again? I'm not even saying this about like Young Bucks matches because they don't. For all the negatives I can give them, they don't really do the war of attrition elbow spot. It's a lot of other people that do it. But yeah, you watch a lot of old wrestling in like a short period of time. You watch like a bunch of 80s stuff or even 90s or even, God forbid, like early 2000s indie boom stuff, and you realize exactly how bad shit's gotten since then.
Mm.
Like I watched El Generico versus Justice Payne last night from the CZW show the day of the CZW ROH doubleheader. And one, El Generico is great in that match. I mean, he doesn't really have a whole lot to do except, get beat up by Justice Payne. But my big takeaway from that match was like, this version of Justice Payne would be like no worse than like a top 5 worker now.
Yeah.
And that's both that's both high praise for Justice Payne and condemnation for everybody wrestling now, because Jesus Christ. I also I saw they put up Grudges, Gripes, and Grunts on the Vault page at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, and they put up the Jake and Rick Martel, what do you call it, blindfold match.
Yes.
I'm
Classic.
just kind of scanning through. Dude, that match rocks. There's a Brother Brudai and Hogan versus Beverly Brothers match on this tape. There's a Flair and Tatanka match on this tape. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, but that just seems weird.
We got I was going to say Brother Brudai because he's got the hot dog tan. We got Mr. Perfect versus Papa Shango. Repo Man versus The Undertaker. We got oh boy, it's one of those tapes with Bushwhackers matches on it. We got the Bushwhackers and a midget versus the Beverly Brothers and a midget.
That Hogan and Brutus against the Beverly Brothers match is funny because only one of those guys was one of those guys wasn't in AWA. The other 3 were.
Oh yeah, Beefer, yeah.
Were they friends with Hogan?
I don't know, actually.
Because they were all in WCW together as well.
The fucking Sean and Duggan lumberjack match. Good lord. Looks like we got a Steiner's match. No, it's just a Steiner's profile. Money Inc. versus the Natural Disasters. Hot dog. Okay, well, the main event of the tape is Sean and Flair against Bret Hart and Randy Savage. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah. They also, I saw they put up the 94 bloopers, bleeps, and body slams tape last week. That's a fun tape. I've probably said it before on the show, but like 93, 94 is the second like peak for Coliseum video. Cause like 89, 90, you start getting like the better, like Tony Schiavone shows up and all of a sudden the tapes get really good. Who would have thought?
Have you seen that? There's like a clip. I don't know if it was from like some German show or whatever, but it's like Hogan and Beefcake in '97, and Hogan's wearing the red and yellow, but he's got like the Hollywood beard, and Beefcake is just Beefcake. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It is like super strange.
What? It's so fucked up.
Yeah, because like it's like, what is Hogan doing wearing this shit at this point?
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, Pinnacle Collection. We have to talk about that. So after having to fucking basically call the 800 number from the postal service to be like, service, not surface. Be like, my post office is trying to fuck on me. I finally got my Pinnacle Collection figures, not this past Monday, but the previous Monday. I ordered 2 of everybody. I think I've said that before on the show. You ordered Abby.
Yes.
And Abby was the first one I opened because that was the one that I wanted the most. Not gonna lie, I'm sure if you go back and find the WrestleMania 30 or 40 recap podcast we did, I was just like losing my mind over that Abby. And I said it when we saw the prototype, the hand painted one. I said it when we saw the studio shots. I'll say it again. That's the best wrestling figure ever.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a contender. It's like when I opened mine, I hadn't even opened it out of the package yet. I was just looking at the package and it's like, God damn, like you really couldn't have got any better with the likeness than that. Like it's pretty much perfect, you know? And actually like putting it on my shelf and stuff. And I was like, I took some pictures with him and like Terry Funk and the different heads and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, this is top tier for sure.
It's such a good figure. The bloody head is awesome.
Yeah.
Titties on point. These have great articulation too. I know that people are like, oh, they don't have double jointed elbows, but the pin with the rotation at the elbow is perfectly fine. I could see the argument maybe that the big guys might have needed a bicep swivel, but I don't really care. Like, I don't need that much articulation on King Kong Bundy and Abdullah the Butcher.
I had the paper in mind that said, like warm it up first of like a hair dryer or whatever. I had two of those notes in mind for whatever reason, but
I did too.
I didn't even need to do that. I just sort of like moved the arms up and down a bit, and that just loosens it sort of automatically, and then it was fine after that. And the same thing with the legs. So because it's so heavy, I did have a problem sort of like standing it properly for a bit.
I
You
put two
just
stands under him. I wasn't fucking with it.
I sort of have to lean him forward a bit, um, wi- just because of the weight of it seems to like pull it down. But now it's in my ring with all like the WCW figures. It's right at the front, so he's in the good spot. He's not going to fall off or anything.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did have an issue. So the Jarrett that I opened, his hips are a little loose, like the ball joints are a little squirrely. So I posed him doing the Fargo strut, despite the fact I knew the hips were a little squirrely. At like 2 a.m, I hear a thud, and I sit up and I'm like, "Oh god damn it, which one?" And I noticed Jarrett's not up there anymore. The only thing, because I'm remembering the guy whose Jarrett fell and the leg broke off. The only thing that happened was my Jarrett's hat came off, and I was like, "Oh." So I stood him, and I stood him up, just hands in the air, not doing the Fargo strut, and he's been perfectly fine ever since.
Well, the reason they fell off the shelf is because he just had to go over, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 94 Jarrett, but he has the TNA mentality. Um, that figure's amazing, dude. Like the glitter on the attire, like the amount of deco hits that figure has, ridiculous. Great
Yeah.
likeness on all three heads. I swapped the smiling one on with the hat and the glasses. It, I hate using the phrase perfect because I could probably nitpick every single one of these figures, but like
Right.
Jarrett's basically perfect. Bundy is amazing. All three head sculpts are great. They look exactly like him. Heavy as a motherfucker, just like Abby. I've got him posed just kind of like gritted teeth doing the five. Pillman, my one gripe is the cane is really skinny and you can't actually have him like holding it, like pointing it like he did at Cyber Slam because that was how I was gonna pose him on my shelf. All
Right.
the heads look great. Like they knocked it out of the fucking park with all four of those guys. And it makes me really, 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 really want the pre-order for Series 2 and New Jack to happen as soon as possible.
I
Because
I'll nitpick a little bit just because it was brought up to me on Blue Sky before I got mine. Um, Abby's wrist tape is it's not molded on; they're separate pieces, and I do prefer sort of like the molds to be included in it because I don't know. I just find kind of frustrating like sometimes when you pull the arms off, like the wrist tape sort of falls out of place. I didn't have that problem with it when I did change the hands, but it's something that can happen. And the cut on the neck, I feel like if you look at it, it's kind of distracting. You know what I mean? Like where the neck and the head separate. Um, but it's not a big deal or anything. It's just when I look at it, sometimes it's like, wow, it's like there's a really big separator, let's say, between like the neck and the chest. But it's not like a huge deal or anything. I mean, the figure overall is like fantastic, but it's just as I said, like a nitpick.
yeah, I've noticed with Abby and Bundy, if you lean the heads too far, like back or forward, you'll see the gap. I
Yeah.
also noticed that really happening when I didn't have Bundy's head like fully on.
Yeah, I
Um,
had a lot of trouble with putting one of Abby's heads on. I think it was the one with the fork in the mouth. It just like would not go on. It's driving me crazy.
the peg can be a little squirrely trying to get the other heads on. I'm glad I
Yeah.
didn't have any trouble like getting anything off or like staying on.
Hmm.
The molded wrist tape's a weird thing because like I'm so used to it with Mattel with like Undertaker and
Right.
like anybody that has like gloves or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's done basically so like he's doing one man gang. He doesn't have to do like a different forearm mold. It's just you don't
That
include the
makes
rubber
sense.
piece.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Sometimes it does slide. It's at least it's easy enough to move stuff back into place on
Mm,
that as long as it doesn't fall off and you lose it.
yeah.
Like again, I get why you did it. I really want to see that Shane Douglas.
Yeah, I'm super curious about that as well. Was it you that posted Abby and Bruiser Brody, or was it someone else?
I took a picture of them together. I posted it on like my Instagram.
Doesn't
A
the
bunch of
blood
people
on
though that
doesn't
oh,
the
go on.
blood on Brody look like really terrible compared to Abdullah?
Oh, the scars where it's like a dark pink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I took that picture and I sent it to like fucking everybody. And I was like, when you see them side by side, like we all thought these Powertown figures were incredible. They look like
Mm.
fucking shit. Like I looked at Abby next to Hanson and I was like, I thought this Hanson figure was incredible. This Hanson figure fucking sucks.
Well, it's also something very different and new at the time, and I mean, we brought it up multiple times, but like the fact that they all have that blank expression sort of really didn't help them at the end of the day.
Yeah, like that completely expressionless Bruiser Brody face. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a guy
which
I associate with being straight face. Same thing with Hanson.
yeah, you can't do that for Brody. I mean, even I think it was the character products had like the Huss, it was sort of like looked like it was in the middle, if I remember correctly. But just having like
There's
a
one, and then there's like a straight faced one too. But the straight faced one, like his eyes are kind of bulging. He's got like kind of like a grumpy look on his face.
yeah, you can't do like a Brody just like with a blank stare. That doesn't work.
No. And it was very funny that Zombie shipped these figures right when the shit hit the fucking fan with Powertown. So for
Yeah.
those of you that are out of the loop, Magnum TA and Greg Gagne are no longer involved in Powertown. So for Magnum, he took that like years long tour of ruining his fucking public like image and credibility ultimately for nothing.
I think he's on an ass kicking tour right now, isn't he? Isn't that his plan?
Yeah, if you call him a carny, he's gonna slap you with his fucking good hand. All you gotta do is just kind of like push the little Segway away from you and call it good. I I saw the majors thing, and Brian Myers is a spineless, gutless piece of shit. Matt Cardona is a spineless, gutless piece of shit. Because even after all of this, neither of them are willing to just be like, "Yeah, guys, we fucked up.
Yeah, that's
We
pathetic.
really should have called them out more on this shit." Mark Sterling was the only one who was basically like, "Yeah, you know what? That whole when it comes thing, we probably went a little too far with it." And I understand when it comes with like Zombie. Because yeah, you're probably gonna wait a year, but then when you get it in hand, it's like, fucking look at this thing.
Hmm.
And like, I mean, Epic doesn't really have long wait times, but their figures have gotten better. I can't think of anybody else that has like boss fight. Like when it comes, but when it comes, like they're always great. Boss fight doesn't make bad toys. It, it should have never been extended to Powertown because if you recall, we were supposed to get Brody, Hanson, and Vern like 6 months after the pre-orders until the majors pulled one of the legs up and it went boom.
Hmm.
And they had to delay them and they shipped like 3 months after that because they like the one good thing Matt Cardona and Brian Myers ever did, probably because they were concerned about the quality of their own figures, was they told them if you ship figures that break this easily, it is going to kill the line. You are going to have to issue refunds, and that's going to be it. And all I could think about when I was sitting there kind of moving the Pinnacle figures around was all of the shit Rosenthal and Magnum specifically talked on Zombie. And I'm like, oh, look at this. I can move Bundy and Abby's legs. Look at wow, that's crazy. And he didn't have to like delay shipping these at all. It was just with Zombie, whenever you get the shipping estimate, it's like 3 months after that, and you're pretty much never going to be wrong.
Right.
But I was talking with Wrestling Figure News, and I guess Steve Rosenthal was supposed to call him on Friday and then bailed and said he'll call Monday. At this point, there is not a single fucking thing Steve Rosenthal can say that would be inadequate defense of this.
No, I mean it's criminal. I mean, it's what do you see at this point? You know, like
I heard an interesting theory about what happened to that pre-order money too.
I imagine they spent it, or he spent it. I don't know.
Yeah. So one of the theories I heard is that a bunch of that pre-order money was spent to get the Cardona and Myers 2-pack fully produced and out the door.
Oh, okay. Well, I could see that.
And it's crazy. We've passed 2 years since the Remco pre-order.
Good God.
We're like rapidly approaching 2 years since the TNA pre-order. Ringside put out a TNA figure in the time it's taken Powertown to fucking close the loop on that. Half that series is gone.
Yeah, it's funny. You see the connection between like Powertown and Virtual Basement when you had like, Jordan Grace talking about Powertown, and I think it was Shazza McKenzie talking about Virtual Basement. Just the like, yeah, this is ridiculous. It's been forever, yada yada. Very similar. But yeah, like I said, it's criminal. I mean, what else can you say about it?
Yeah, I feel bad for everybody that's like still holding on, hoping they get their figures. I don't care that Steve Rosenthal is steady claiming that like, oh, if you pre-ordered, the orders will be fulfilled. Those figures are never coming.
Feel bad for like the talent and their families as well, because like they don't sign up for these things in an attempt to scam fans. I mean, they sign up because they think they're going to get some money out of it, and the fans are going to get their product, and at the end of the day, nobody gets anything.
Yeah, it's a shame. And
Yep.
like you have people getting out of those contracts now. Doug Gilbert contacted KWK on behalf of himself and Eddie.
Yeah, he said he was going back to old Japan.
I think that's the thing I'm most disappointed about with Powertown shitting the bed was like we we were at a point where we were getting like all Japan belts in figure form.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And now
it was something different. I mean, we've had legends before, but we've never had legends in like the quality. At least what we thought at the time was like very good quality products and presented in such a way that they felt like respected and important. And even though the legs were damaged and they had to redo them, it's like when everybody got the product. I mean, it felt like, oh, the legit. This is going to be a really good brand, and they felt so bad. Like fell off like unbelievably. I can't remember the last time I seen anything like it.
yeah, it's been a pretty spectacular fall from grace from them. I remember thinking like this is kind of like the Figures Toy Company line from when I was a kid because
Yeah,
they made all these guys you would have never like I would have never guessed Luthez or Vern Gagne would have got a figure. And I think probably you shouldn't have placated Greg by doing a Vern. You probably could have just thrown somebody else in that set.
right.
Um and Kyle Peterson in his videos like, I was really hoping this would be like the classic superstars line. And it's like, buddy, Zombie Sailor Pinnacle collection was always right. Once Zombie announced a 6-inch line, and I think I might have even said this 3 years ago when it was announced, like it's ball game
Mhm.
for anybody trying to exist in that space. Like you're not going to release better figures than him. You might get them out in a more timely fashion, but your shit's not going to be better. And when we saw what we were getting with Ultra Series 2, I was like, okay, yeah, we're getting Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe and Wahoo. That's awesome. But the renders didn't look promising. And the fact that we've never seen like really actual fucking, prototypes of them, except for like Medusa, I think, that was concerning.
Yep.
And like once we saw the pre-order solicitations for Heels and Faces Pinnacle collection, it was like 3 heads, 2 sets of hands, incredibly detailed sculpting and paint applications, and they're the same fucking price as Powertown. What is Powertown's like space in the market at this point?
I-
Like,
They
who's the audience?
right. And I mean, I'd love to see his take on like Brody and Hansen in particular.
Pinnacle Collection Brody would be insane.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need multiple sets of hands with Brody so much. I would appreciate them. We'd probably get them. But
Yeah.
like three different heads. One of them would be bloody. The vest would be soft goods. The boot covers would be soft goods.
I was thinking, what if he could have like a chain and like a bloody chain as well? That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah.
Like, I'd pay $50 for a Pinnacle Collection Brody. I'd pay 50 for a Pinnacle Collection Hansen. Are you shitting me? It's Stan Hansen.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've been saying it for like ever now. If he does Pinnacle Collection 2-packs, the first one needs to be Awesome and Tanaka.
Yeah.
Like 2 figures, a table, a chair, 3 heads for each. You could even do like gladiator paint for Awesome if you want on one of the heads. He doesn't really seem to like doing 2-in-1s though, but like that would be my pick.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I mean, from who else is released? I mean, who else would you go with? I mean, if
he's got Flair and Savage.
Oh, that's true. The Road Warriors, I guess, if he can do them.
Herc and Jerk.
I was thinking about ECW, and I don't think anyone else really goes together.
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, but I was thinking, well, in my mind it was like, like Shane Douglas. Like excuse me. I didn't think of anyone like with Shane Douglas that I would necessarily put him with, and I feel like well, that's true. I forgot that he did a Candido. But like Raven, I would probably want to like if you're gonna put Raven with somebody, it'd probably be Dreamer, and of course he doesn't have Dreamer.
Could he do a 6-inch Sandman? Or since Mattel's got him, can he not do?
I don't know.
Because like if he could do Sandman, that's my pick. But yeah, like other than Dreamer, if he's not able to do Sandman, because Raven doesn't really do anything with Mikey, anything of note at least.
And I think if you were doing Sabu, you'd want Taz or RVD, right? So
yeah, I mean, Sabu would stand alone just fine as a singles release, I think.
Yeah, I guess if you could get Bill Alfonso.
Well, he has Fonzie. Like, he announced that 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember. He's done so many and saying so many names. I forget what he's done, what he hasn't.
He's really good about not announcing shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like he announced what was it, Brawler in like 2021, and we just saw the like painted prototype.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just shows up, and I'm like, huh? All right, okay. Forgot about that.
And like Loose Cannon Pillman was announced around the same time. I think the sketch was shown around the same time, and I think it's because he's coming to the end of some of these fucking deals that he's got to get people out. Because like Pillman's going to be an in-stock drop. Brawler, I guess, is going to be an in-stock drop.
Would have liked to see a Flying Brian.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Mattel will do another shitty one. That's like the only hope we've got. I don't think either of the Mattel Flying Brians were anywhere near as good as the one Jackson.
Yeah, I think I barely remember it, but I probably agree with that. I think like, that seems like a hard figure for people to pull off, like the wild mullet in the head.
Yeah, it is. I liked the Jax one. I never had it because that was released after the point where like the quality control kind of went to shit with like the shoulder joints of the Jax figures. But that Pillman released a couple of years earlier would have been like a real big deal on my figure. Because shout outs to Pillman. Shout outs to CyberSlam 96 though. I'm glad that that's the zombie figure we got because that's one of the funniest fucking promos ever. Also interesting, by the way. The gun is great. It fits in the hand perfectly. I saw Fig Heel did a picture of him holding the gun sideways, and I was like dying. He doesn't call 911. Brian Pillman.
No.
I saw on one of the Pinnacle Collection posts, the official Bad News account was like, "Where's Bad News?" And it like the next day, it's announced he's going into the Legacy wing of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, God, are we going to have another RVD situation? But KWK made a post about their figures that were coming. And then Latuni announced that he signed Bad News. So maybe Pinnacle Collection Bad News is still coming? I would hope, because that figure looks awesome.
Maybe. I mean, we just saw those 3-inch Demolition. We're still getting those, right? So.
Yeah, and Jailbird Crush, because Figure Collections was at Squared Circle Expo. So their big reveals were unpainted prototypes of like 90s Insane Clown Posse, BCW figures of Matt Cardona because of course, and Slim Jim Macho Man. And then the Kenner style line, they revealed Axe and Smash. And then in the retro line, they revealed like a 96 Jailbird Nation of Domination Crush.
Yeah.
Nothing on the 6-inch line. Sadly, we know that from their email they sent a week or two ago that Patriots supposed to be coming in the fall. They asked for suggestions. I DM'd and immediately was like, Perry, Saturn, and Glacier, please.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get Chris Canyon, I'll take a fucking Mortis.
I forgot that they're doing Patriots. See, there's so much shit. I forget half of it. Do you think they'll do like different heads based on different masks, or?
Yeah, so I may or may not have seen the hand painted prototype of that figure, and he may or may not have different masks.
What do you think they do for attire? Is it like WWF 97 or?
We've seen it. It's the black tights.
Oh, see, again, I forget all the shit. Yeah. So yeah, WWF 97, because it's either going to be the red or the black ones, right?
I think the Kenner style one's in the red tights.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I want Stars and Stripes.
Well, they're doing that as a retro 2-pack, I think.
I forget everything.
I think those were shown at Squared Circle Expo. That, or I'm like losing my mind. Which
probably. I know we saw like the Scorpio and Bagwell.
Oh yeah, no, they're right there behind ICP.
Oh, are they okay? Oh yeah, that's right. I think I did see them in that picture.
Unpainted prototype of the Kenner style Kona Brian Adams was shown too. That's a cool figure.
When do you think we're going to see this epic Vader?
Honestly, at this point, never.
Because like, that's one that it'd be nice to see some more Vader products out there. So yeah, I'd appreciate seeing that.
I'm thinking there might have been something with like his Legends deal.
Maybe, yeah.
It's the only thing that makes any sort of like sense, I guess.
Mm.
Oh, they posted the sketch for Liger like a month ago. I never saw that. They did have the big rubber guys Liger in the box on hand at Squared Circle Expo. Looks really cool.
That's we'll see if Collect and Connect gets that in, because like that's a hard one for me to pass on,
Yeah, I'm looking at the epic figures that were shown at For the Love of Wrestling, and I hate that they're really scummy about the whole Hayabusa thing, because the Genius does look really good. Like that's a great figure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened to those Nasty Boys though. That Brian Knobs is pretty rough without the glasses. I'm not gonna lie.
You could say that about the real Brian Knobs as well.
That's true, but I don't think like the top half of his head is not like half as skinny as the bottom half. That's kind of how this figure looks. I mean, they're both like two of the weirdest looking motherfuckers in the history of humanity. Like, think of the ground that covers.
Indeed.
What in the hell? Okay, that was another picture from Squared Circle Expo. I thought like it was a picture from like a different convention. I did see that J&J Figures had like very limited numbers of Pinnacle Collection and the Road Warriors available at Squared Circle Expo.
Yeah.
The retro Road Warriors are supposed to start shipping this week. So hopefully that's, the case. Those things look amazing. I just want to see them in person finally.
Oh, there's a picture of Lego with his retros. That's cool. And the dude he's with is wearing a Dave Mysterio beanie.
Did you see the picture on Instagram of J&J from their booth? I guess Okada came over and bought the Junk Shop Dog, Tanahashi, and Tenny figures.
Yeah, I did see that. That was cool.
Yeah, that's wacky.
He probably didn't even know about them. He's probably just like walking around like, holy shit.
He was probably like, hey, I retired both of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, he was hanging around with Muto and Chono and Sonny Ono.
I really, really regret that I wasn't able to make it to the convention, but they're so expensive now. if the prices if the prices weren't so ridiculous, if they were more like what they were when I was going to like Heroes and Legends, I would have went and I would have had them sign my King of Colosseum too.
It would have been really cool to meet Shono because he very rarely makes US appearances. I think he did like a convention like a few years ago, but like he doesn't travel outside of Japan a lot, so that would have been really cool. Um, it's also wild to me that Muto had Muta gear made now, like post retirement, because it's the mask he's wearing with the NWO paint on it is like obviously never been done before. It's a take off of his old face paint, but like that's new. And the attire he was wearing in that picture looked like 99 WCW, but I think it's a little different. So it looks like he had brand new attire made for just like photo ops, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, if you get new gear made, you get new figures, or in this
Let's
case, convention bookings.
if they do, I would love them to do that. Current Muta and NWO mask, that'd be crazy.
I wish we had a clue as to how much longer Mattel's actually going to have access to him.
I feel like maybe they made a new deal just because it was like, we're it's limited, and then they announced that those re-releases, and well, one of them's got like a different paint style. Um, so I think maybe like they came up with a new deal between them. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, I hope so anyway.
Like, hey, we'll extend your merch deal if you hand us Pro Wrestling Noah.
Muto's like, I'll give you it for free.
It's not my company. I have not checked the Powertown thread on wrestling figs in a long time. I did check it's very funny how some of the more staunch like anti-zombie accounts have done like the 180 on him, and there's still like the one guy who's like, oh, Abby only had the one skin tone on the retro, but the Pinnacle collection figure has multiple, and Zombie says he makes perfect figures. Well, let's take like 2 seconds. Why would the retro line have like the super detailed skin shading when none of the other figures in the line do?
Well, I think a lot of it is just like people are zombies being a dick in the past. He was a dick to me once, but it's like I don't. It's nothing personal, It's just like whatever. His figures are really good, and I can admit that, But
Oh
like
yeah, he's an asshole.
people get really up in themselves about like holding grudges against people, and they refuse to admit anything that they do is good. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, it's so weird, man. They're just action figures.
Also, he sent me two Bastion Bogas that one time. If he could have sent me two Abdullahs, that would have been great. Um,
That
but it is what it is. People are
Booger figure's
strange.
pretty neat.
It is pretty good.
Yeah,
I think I do like the more detailing on the Mitch figure. I do have to say, at least the prototype that was shown.
yeah. I think the idea was it was supposed to match deco wise the Ron Rudat sketch.
Yeah.
That's my only guess. And speaking of Mitch, he's just showing off the hand painted prototypes of like the Regium line, which are being painted by Chris Hargrove. I'm gonna reserve judgment on everything until we see like actual factory samples. I would encourage people to not pre-order until you've seen like an actual sample, because that one Raven sample he showed was brutal.
Do you see that Bulls Mahoney?
I did, and I don't get why it has to be WWE CW balls.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And like I saw that he showed off like a Dean Douglas 6-inch figure, and I don't know who that's for.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I used to be all about like I want to get like the WWF figures that didn't come out, or like, but even that one that's like they weren't making those type of figures then, So it's like, yeah, I don't know who Dean Douglas is for.
Like
You
the
know
Mark
who
Mara one is probably the closest we're gonna get to me being like, fuck, I probably should buy one of these.
that Mongo looks like the villain from Kindergarten Cop. Rhonda
That
Murphy.
Mongo, the head sculpt on him kind of looks like a girl that I worked with at Walmart like almost
Oh
10 years
no.
ago. Like big ass forehead and everything. She wasn't as cool as Mongo. Nobody
No.
is. Why is his forehead so goddamn big?
I don't know.
Like we all giggled at the Zombie Sailor CM Punk, the first one, for how big that figure's forehead is. This might be more egregious. Like his hairline extends far higher than Mongo McMichael's hairline actually did.
I've got to send you a comparison photo.
Oh no. What is going on here? Oh, it's the Al Snow figure. Okay.
Actually, this guy has more hair in the front. But yeah, like his products are hit and miss. I mean, you saw I thought the Sergeant Slaughters were really well done. Not to be confused with well done. But then you see a lot of these
Oh, that was
regiments like
KWK.
yeah, no, I was just just making a short joke. But yeah, a lot of these regiment stuff is just like not hitting the mark.
No, and like I'm looking at the unpainted prototype of like just the plastic sample of Raven, and like there's some alright sculpting here, but just like even without paint, those heads don't fucking look like Scott Levy at all.
I
Yeah,
think
that
Gang
kind of does look like that guy.
I think Gangrel's there's been an improvement there, but from what I could see from the March 12th, at least in the face, I feel like it's a better job done on it.
It's definitely got better paint on it now than it did before.
Yeah. I think what the thing about the Mark Marrows, did he have tassels for that attire?
I don't remember offhand, honestly.
Because I feel that's very distracting that he doesn't have any.
I think it's also really like I like the sculpted on pads. That was a big thing that I liked in the RA line when people had like the molded on knee pads, and like obviously the Toy Biz TNA line and WCW line.
Yeah.
The way the joints look on the knees for these figures, if you see them from the side, I would be very, very cautious to bend any of these figures.
It doesn't look like he had tassels with that gear, which feels weird when you think back about it, but
I wouldn't mind getting this. I wish it was like the red attire. I get why he did the black because the BCA
yeah.
figure, but after a certain point, you have to stop tethering these figures to like the attires that they were in, like when we were all kids.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat what's already out there, and you know,
Like, why is that Raven figure he's doing basically the San Francisco toy makers Raven with the green knee pads?
yeah.
Like, I loved that figure when I was a kid. It sucked. It didn't look anything like Raven, but I loved that figure when I was a kid. I don't think I need a modern version of it though.
No, you don't necessarily need to redo what's already been done in a different style. You can do something completely different shirts, you know, different knee pads.
Pay the fucking money to license that Melvin shirt that we didn't get on the original Zombie Raven because he had to
Yeah,
go with the Minister shirt because he couldn't get the Melvin shirt.
yeah. I
The
don't
the
think I'd
new
go with a
hand
Sandman
painted.
shirt these days.
No, no. Well, Mitch probably doesn't fucking know or care.
No.
Looking at the hand painted prototype of Raven, like yeah, the head looks way better when you get some paint on it and it's painted by somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
But my thing with Raven, and I know we've talked about this before, there are guys that Mitch has that my entire outlook on that figure is like, I'm just gonna wait for whenever the zombie one comes out.
Uh, I forgot that he's doing a franchise regime as well.
Yeah, well, there's probably a reason Shin Douglas got bumped to Series 2 of the Pinnacle collection, huh?
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet the zombie one's gonna smoke that Regium figure. Because it looks like, again, he's using the fucking torso from the Rougeos and Ahmed Johnson on Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
You can reuse body
See,
parts. Like Zombie's doing that in Series 2 and with New Jack. I don't care, but like it's gotta make sense.
do you think that did you notice that the knee pads have Hastel toy written on them?
Yeah, I don't I think it's been mentioned that those aren't gonna be there on the final figure.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
They'd better not be. Let's be perfectly clear. They had better not be. Because that would be like Mitch is a mark, but that's like you're going probably a little too far.
Yeah.
I I will say though, and I know I've said this before also, my I'll wait for zombie thing does not include Sabu. When Ringside drops that, it's a wrap. I'm buying it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out. We'll see. I mean, we obviously didn't get a good look at it in the video.
No, I hope I'm wrong on this, but I'm thinking it's going to be the Joe Hendry body with soft goods pants and obviously different headbands.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if Ringside reused any parts across the Road Warriors and Demolition, so maybe I'm being too cynical.
I don't know. I just feel
I
like
know those.
I was looking at the Warriors again recently when I put up the Abdullah, and like those boys need some weight to them.
Yeah, they're a little scrawny.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem when you try so hard to fit in with the Mattel line is you have to make people way smaller than they probably should be.
Yeah, I think getting that, like holding that Abdullah and seeing it like weight wise and body wise, and then picking up the LOD right afterwards was like, oof. We need a redo of these or something because these boys lack meat.
Yeah, and like the mobility on the legs, I think we talked about when they came out. Like my
Yeah.
Road Warrior Animal's leg popped off at the ball joint, which you can pop it back on, but like that's concerning. I don't know if that was fixed on Joe Hendry or Demolition, but
Mm.
at least I didn't get one of the sets that had like the really loose joints out of the second batch because I know a lot of people got Road Warriors that were very very limp
I think mine were
out of the
pretty
box.
loose. Yeah.
I love the idea of Ringside making their own action figures.
Oh
Like the
yeah, me
more
too.
people making 6-inch figures, the better. But like the quality is a concern of mine.
Yeah, I mean, I
With
jumped on those Road Warriors because like they're the Road Warriors. Also, like having New Japan attire was like really cool. Um, and I'm still happy I got them. But like looking at them, it's just like, yeah, you could have done another test on these because they're just too small.
yeah, they're I don't want to say tiny, but that's also another issue I have with the Mattel line is when they make guys that are big, they look really cartoonish next to the quote unquote normal size guys.
Yeah,
Like when
true.
they did that first like elite like they used the same body for Don Morocco, Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan, and Bruno. And
Mm.
you stand those guys next to like Batista, for example, like an elite Batista, and Batista's like so skinny compared to them. And it's like I'm at the point now where I'm starting to understand some of the Jax fans' criticisms of the Mattel line when it first started, like how tiny and frail everybody looks.
Mm.
Like that Ultimate Brock they did, the O2 one, that one's pretty good. Like it's a pretty like imposing looking figure on the shelf, but like none of the Batistas are. I mean, fucking look at Batista.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely an
just
issue that they've had as well as height issues as well. So remember that gene that was bigger than the Hogan that he came with and stuff like that. And yeah, there's got to be like
yeah.
a bigger quality control.
I I didn't know this existed. Speaking of Batista, because he's on the cover. There's a DVD set of the like shows they did in Japan in '05,
Hmm.
and I never knew that shit existed. But there's also like an extra, and it's like a Tajiri comp that's built in, and like I'm not saying these are all like like super great Tajiri matches, but there's like a Jamie Noble match on there. There's a Rey Mysterio match on there. The Judgment Day 03 ladder match is on there. And I really fucking wish we had gotten this released in the US because this would have been like an easy day one, hey mom, take me to Sam Goody so I can get this fucking DVD kind of thing. Like they would do that like weird, obscure, like like we did get the global warning show from
Yeah,
Australia, but it's
I was
not
gonna
even.
bring that up. Yeah.
We didn't even get the full show because I think we looked at, or I looked it up once when we were recording, and like there's an angle and test match that fucking never like surfaced.
Mm.
And not that I think that match would have been great, but like Test was not bad. And Kurt's Kurt. I imagine that's probably pretty good at the bare minimum.
Plus, when you buy a show, you want it to be as complete as possible.
Yeah, and I don't think I knew about the matches that were missing in '02, and I still to this day regret not picking that up when it was at Sam Goody because that really was like a Coliseum video in the sense of like,
Yeah.
here's World Tour '90, whatever the fuck, and it's really just matches from this one show that are presented as if they weren't from the same show.
Yeah, it was an
And
interesting release.
yeah, and they did obviously in the US we also got like the Rebellion and Insurrection pay-per-views on
Yeah.
DVD, but I never ended up fucking with those because I ended up watching one of those on the network, and it really was just like, hey, buy this pay-per-view to see an episode of Monday Night Raw.
We bought one of those as like I think it was like Fanatic series. I think it was like
Oh
2001.
yeah,
I think it was the one that had an Edge and Christian Cage match, if I remember correctly.
it's Insurrection, I think. Whichever
Yeah.
one's in the later part of the year.
That's when we used to get like all the pay-per-views in 2001, so we definitely got that.
I wish I could have gotten all the pay-per-views in '01. Oh, speaking of '01, we didn't talk about the Backlash not public preview build, did we? Last time.
I don't even. No, we haven't.
So, full disclosure, it's a super early preview build. The arenas aren't fully implemented yet. Hell in a Cell's not implemented yet. But what is there is basically a WWF '01 game built on top of Born to Be Wired, which means it's pretty fucking good. Not everybody has 4 attires. A lot of the people from No Mercy have new faces, which is great because some of the faces in No Mercy fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like Rock. And like Austin and Triple H and Edge. And honestly, like all of the faces in that game kind of suck.
Do we know what else is at? Like, I imagine there'll be new movesets. Is there any like more? I was gonna say match types, but like more options other than Hell in a Cell.
I don't know because I think he scrapped the project and restarted it once he started on Born to Be Wired.
Okay.
I think that's what happened. Or he sidelined it until Born to Be Wired was done because he wanted that done so he had an even better base for Backlash. There's videos and pictures on the Patreon of the Hell in a Cell match, and it's so wacky to see because we're both from the era of like the Game Shark hacks for the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
And this cell is fucking massive. Apparently, he's gonna do the 4 breakable pieces up top. There's just gonna be a door that's on the side facing the announce tables, which isn't technically accurate, but I could give 2 shits.
Oh yeah, it works within game.
It would be a really funny nod to SmackDown if like you get out of the cage by taking the door off and you have that as like a weapon you could use.
No, that'd be cool.
That would be so neat. It's going to be interesting to see because like you have like the Rumble animations and everything. Are those going to be on the top of the cell where like you can do like a fucking running awesome bomb to someone off the cell through the announce table?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
And
that shit's just crazy. It's like when you see that, it's just like this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it does. Like as in like animation wise and the way it's presented, but it's like this shouldn't exist.
No, like everything we've known for like 2.5 decades about hacking and modding these games. And make no mistake about it, Freem deserves a ton of credit for this stuff with like VPW Studio and everything like that. Like Randy has taken like all of the stuff that we used to be like, oh cool, a Hell in a Cell with like 5 million lines of Game Shark code. Yeah, that's just fucking that just works now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I was telling you when we were talking about ECW, it was like there used to be like Game Shark codes to add like a table, but you'd have to press like Z or some whatever to like break the table upon impact or whatever. And I never messed with them because I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want it to break. And now you can just do that. and I did that little video and just like doing stuff like setting someone up on a table and doing a 5-star frog splash, and it looks natural. It looks like it's supposed to be there. It's just insane. It's wild.
And shout outs to the guy in Randy's Discord that did the Heatwave 98 finish in Born to Be Wired.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to do that, but obviously I don't have like the controller set up. So I was like, ah, shit, can't do that. But yeah, seeing that was crazy too.
Yeah, like, and I guess he's got a WCW project coming too.
Oh, thank God.
Probably
Because
after the WWF one.
obviously there was WCW Feel the Bang, but that's very bloated, right? Like it feels like a lot to run that. Um, and one of the people behind it's like super MAGA, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. There was he popped up as like someone to follow on Twitter, and I didn't remember who it was, and I went and I was like, oh God damn it. But yeah, I was hoping he would do that because you've got ECW, you've got WWF, like obviously WCW is the third one, and there's a hell of a lot of potential. There's a lot of opportunity to have a whole bunch of different stuff. Would he attempt to do a triple cage? I wonder. Is that possible? Is that something you could do, or is that too much?
I don't know. I know he's calling it Starcade, not to be confused with the Aki style texture mod Starcade that came out. Oh God, like 15 years ago.
Right. So does he have like a time frame that he's talked about or anything as far as like roster goes? Or because
No,
obviously
not that I saw.
ECW's got like Abdullah and all those, but it's mostly focused on like later years ECW.
Yeah, it feels like the idea is the what if kind of thing where like obviously the Born to Be Wired roster skews heavily towards like hardcore revolution and anarchy rules with like just
Right.
kind of the Easter eggs of everybody that wasn't around. Backlash looks like it's sticking straight 2001, which that's cool. I don't know that I need Iron Sheik or Honky Tonk Man. I would have rather we got other
Yeah.
legends.
Do you think they will probably add like the NWO onto the end of it?
I'm hoping he does like a straight up O2 one at some point, or somebody takes Backlash and does an O2 one.
Mm. I just thought maybe he'd add like maybe the NWO and like Goldberg and Steiner as like extras.
I think the roster that's in there is probably just going to be the final one.
Okay.
Because I don't think the Born to Be Wired roster changed that much over the different like preview builds.
He may put them in as CEW parts.
I could see that for sure, yeah. Because they come in like right after what appears to be the cutoff for this one. But for the WCW one, my guess is it's going to be 99 or 2000.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to do 98 when you've got Revenge, right? So,
yeah.
And he wouldn't. I don't see him doing anything earlier than that.
I think the idea for these is like, what if ECW got? What if we got the sequel to No Mercy? If his idea for Starcade is like, what if Revenge got a sequel? I'm not mad at that, honestly.
Wouldn't it be funny if he like retextured the backstage areas to look like Mayhem or Backstage Assault?
God, that would be cool. I mean, doing like full on conversions for them to look like that stuff would probably take an ungodly amount of work.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Oh my God, that would be. To do some sort of shit to the parking lot to make it look like the parking lot from Mayhem would be like my brain can't even comprehend that.
Even if you could put like the Surge logo on the truck or something, like you did with the ECW, it would be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. I really liked playing as Kurt Angle in that ROM hack. He was the first guy that I played as because I saw his default attire is like No Mercy 01. It's the attire from the R3 Series 4 / WWE Draft Series figure, which that series hit ringside the night of King of the Ring 02. And I freaked out because I saw like it's an R3. It wasn't like one of the ones where it's like a Titantron Life figure. It was an R3 angle.
Right.
And it's like, I wish I still had mine because it's an amazing figure. Like best Kurt Angle likeness we ever had to that point. Basically all new like torso and legs for him. It was right on the money. And my mom ordered that for me while she was arguing with the fucking cable company to let us like watch King of the Ring 02. I missed I missed the 2 tournament matches at the start of the show, and we got in just in time to watch, oddly enough, Kurt Angle make Hogan tap out.
Yeah, I watched that pay-per-view live as well.
I wanted to go to that fucking pay-per-view, man. That shit was 2.5 hours away from my house. And then, and I'm going to say this standing right at the doorway next to someone that could have taken me. The next pay-per-view was on my birthday, and it was 3.5 hours away in Detroit. Mom is trying so hard not to yell at me right now. And, Brock Lesnar versus Rob Van Dam on that show. Rock versus Undertaker versus Angle. It was Rock's second to last pay-per-view as a semi-regular on the roster. He won the title for like the 6th time on that show. But Detroit was too far away. But anyway, 8 years later, I got to go to the same arena to watch Cena versus Batista.
Nice.
Yeah, I just wish I could have went to mention so too.
I really wish they'd run WrestleMania in Canada again, because I don't want to go to WrestleMania, but I want to go to like Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro and stuff. Like
That's
that'd be
why
so
I'm kind
fun.
of waiting to find out when they're doing Mania in Indianapolis, because I'll rock a fucking hotel room in Indy for a weekend to go to like Bloodsport, and like I'll hit up fucking Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro if they're in the area for that. I'll go to the High Spot show.
I had a ticket to Tokyo Joshi Pro, and like I think it was in like the 3rd row when it was cancelled due to COVID. I was like, that was so shitty. I had like a ticket to the Young Lions show, Lions Break that New Japan was doing, and some other stuff as well.
I'm still like, fuck the Fed, but I'm still sad that I got really sick the week of the Rumble last year, because that was, if I was ever going to see one like Fed pay-per-view live, that was the one, and I would have been there for the funniest fucking Rumble ending ever. Yeet. And
Yeah, I'm pretty good not going again. Like my nephew would obviously like to go to WrestleMania, but I was like, if I go, I don't want to go to WrestleMania. He's like, really? It's WrestleMania? It's like, I've done it
yeah, but
like
you've already
multiple.
been.
I've been multiple times now, and it's like once you get past like the pageantry of it all, it's just like, you're looking at a screen most of the time, especially where I was sitting, and like the matches aren't anything special. I had a much better time sitting in the front row for Suzuki and Barnett than I had at WrestleMania. So
That match was likely also significantly better than anything on Mania 35.
yeah, you can see me. I was on Samurai TV. They did like a special on like Mania weekend, and I was on it, and I was like, yeah, I made
Isn't that
Japanese
when
TV.
Takeda gave you gout?
No, what happened was, I mean, I already had gout. He fell out the ring and landed directly on my foot. And I was like, I thought my foot was broken. Like, I was sitting there just like, oh. And I had like a really bad attack that weekend as well. I went to the Bullet Club block party, I think it was called, at the seafood place. I don't even remember what it's called now. That all the wrestlers love. I can't remember. But you shouldn't really eat seafood, a lot of seafood, if you have gout, especially if you don't have medication. So after that, I was like, I couldn't walk. I was supposed to go to the Statue of Liberty. I didn't get to go. And yeah, it was rough, but at least I made it home. Yay.
I didn't realize around the time that I had my like gout attacks in late 21, early 22, that what might have actually brought mine on was I was eating a lot of Burger King at the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
this
I wish I could still eat Burger King, but the crackheads got ours shut down here. I can't have it my way anymore.
I'm like, I've got this medication that I take now, and that's helped a lot. I don't really get sometimes there's some pain in it, but I don't get like bad attacks or anything anymore. I mean, it was just a few, like, it was the last year they said I was a medical mystery, and they kept taking my blood, and they said it's not gout, and then they tested me for like everything, and then came back around. It's like months later, it's like, yeah, it's gout, and I was like, oh, great. But yeah, I wish I had this medication for that Mania weekend. It would have helped me a lot more. And but it is what it is. I remember getting a taxi outside of Barclays, not a taxi, like an Uber, and the guy was like, "Can you just walk down the street because we're like in traffic or whatever?" And I start limping down the street, and the guy was like, "Oh, sorry, didn't know," and I was like, "No, no, it's okay." And I was in Montreal on the way home, and I was limping for the airport, and this guy's like, "I'll take your bag for you," one of the airport staff, and I was like, "That's really nice," but it's okay, I got around.
You should have been like, I'm only handing my bags to my young boy Jacques Rougeau.
Who was on the flight on the way back? It was one of the Bollywood boys was on one of the flights on my way back home.
Huh.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you have fun?" I was like, "Yeah, it's long though. It's a long weekend," and he just nodded.
Also, on note of Backlash, it's like $5 to sign up to Randy's Patreon, and Backlash at the rate he's going is going to be at least as good as Born to Be Wired, probably even better if you really like like '01 era WWF.
Yeah, and also it's got a lot of you've got WCW and ECW talent from that time, and so he's bringing guys over from Born to Be Wild like Taz and Raven and others. So you're gonna have like whatever moves has been added for those wrestlers, new animated moves plus ones for like the WWF roster and stuff. So yeah, it's just gonna feel like an extension of that, really.
Oh, hold on. Although I won't be working on WCW Starrcade for a while with other projects releasing with Starrcade in the title, what should I rename my planned WCW 1999 project? So there you go. It's 1999.
What should he rename it?
Mayhem but good.
Ready
That's
to Rumble.
Oh, I'm suggesting that one. No, I'm not.
You know what? I was looking at VPW Studio. I was like reading a little bit about it, and I was like, I'd really love to do a Stardom project. Um, I read somewhere like Gorilla Monsoon had a percentage of WWF at one point, and I had this idea of like, what if I did a mod where he sold his percentage to his son Victor, and you had WWF versus Wing? I thought that'd be like a hilarious mod to do. That was another idea I had, but I was like reading through the VPW Studio stuff, and I was like, dude, I wouldn't have any idea what I'm doing. Like, it would take me. I wouldn't finish it. I know I wouldn't. I'd probably get like a bit into it, and like at some point just forget about it or do something else, and just wouldn't finish it. But yeah, it's something that I would have loved to do if I had the skills and the ability to finish things to completion. But what are you gonna do?
I still have like I guess design doc would be the phrase for like the territories virtual pro 2 ROM hack that I wanted to do. Eventually, God forbid if I ever end up losing my current job, with the free time between that job and the next one, I could probably be fucking bothered
I
to start
I have a
that.
I have a lot of free time. It's just I don't have like the patience, and I feel so intimidated when I look at the coding and stuff like that. I'm just like, ugh, scares me.
I understand that. Yeah. I'd like to do one of those projects. I suggested because I saw he also suggested it himself. WCW NWO Live would be a really interesting.
Yeah.
That would probably be my pick. I see people suggesting like more like verbose titles for this stuff. I would rather we stick closer to like what a game actually would have been called, and we literally were going to be getting one called WCW NWO Live.
Would have kept that title? I mean, if you're talking about 1999,
The WCW NWO branding does.
what's that?
The
Sorry, you cut off for
WCW
a second.
NWO the branding WCW NWO does go away the further you get to 99.
Yeah, I mean, once the Wolfpack Elites, were they even still using WCW NWO like in like March and stuff like that?
I know that Thunder comes out in like January and it has it, and I want to say the first two series of the Toy Biz WCW figures have it, and that would have been like
Ah,
January
right.
and April.
They always felt like out of date though, right? Like, I mean, WCW went through a lot of changes, so
Yeah, well, remember the first I think like two waves of Toy Biz WCW figures until they did like card revisions still had the purple WCW logo.
yeah, that's crazy.
like that line was in development for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
I would still go with WCW NWO Live, or like if I could call it Mayhem. Who cares?
Trying to think
Create
of
some
what
confusion in the
else.
marketplace.
What I'm just trying to think of like 99 specifically. What else you could come up with? Russo's Revenge.
Call it. No, that's 2000.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I calling it Starcade would be cool, but apparently there's more than just that one project. I sold out, I guess,
Mm,
maybe. Super
99
Brawl.
is 99 is such a weird year too because it starts off feeling at least like production wise like 98. I mean, you've still got the set and everything, and then you go into like the bird shit logo and Hogan black into his red and yellow and stuff. It just feels very strange when you think back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling it like Nitro.
No, I mean
I
at
don't
the
think
end
it
of
needs to
the
be called like WCW The End, like I saw somebody
day,
suggesting. That's stupid.
WCW The Wall. I mean, you can call it whatever. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Starcade would have been cool. World War III feels topical, although not for 1999.
Mm.
Because like WCW's pay-per-view names do not translate to video game titles like the WWF's did.
I mean WWF had some weird ass hearing like loading up a game and saying "shut your mouth" and just bring it. It was just I know it was named after The Rock, but like what a weird name for a game.
Yeah, but that was like the subtitle. SmackDown was still like
Yeah, just
the
imagine
main
going up to
thing.
like AB and going, do you have shut your shut your mouth? Like I probably did that at the time, but it just sounds so strange now.
Oh yeah, I would always like when I reserved "Here Comes the Pain" at Sam Goody. I always prefaced it with like, can I just reserve SmackDown?
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
And then they would read the full title back to me, and I'd be like, that's the one.
I would have said, "Can I speak to your manager, please? You tell me to shut my mouth."
I but like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor
Yeah,
Series, In Your House,
it always made sense
Warzone's a cool
to
name.
it always made sense to name them after the biggest shows or the biggest pay per views and stuff like that.
But then you get like fucking No Mercy, which was a pay per view that debuted the previous year. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the only reason it's titled that is they put the ladder match in.
What do you think about it? Backlash would have made more sense for a name. Well, yeah, you're right about the ladder match. Because what comes after WrestleMania? It's Backlash, right? So
Yeah, that's actually really that's like a great idea.
yeah.
But then you have the rumors like, well, it was going to be called Armageddon because it was going to have a 6-man Hell in a Cell. They were not getting 6 people on screen on the N64.
No, no.
That was not happening. We all need to stop. And there's like the people that are saying, "Oh, this game's being rescued from the archives." Oh, it's a fucking ROM hack. This is Randy is doing incredible work. He is not uncovering like an old beta build of a game that never fucking existed.
Well, you know that all that stuff is going to come back around now. Backlash was
Yeah,
a sequel. It was going to come out to No Mercy.
but
That's
it
why
was
I was
also
making
called
it.
Armageddon.
Uh, yeah, they changed it. Yeah.
Like 6 years ago on Twitter during the pandemic, I did a thread basically using that issue of PSM and Dave's interview with Sanders Keel and some other research and some common sense. And I basically concluded like there was never a WWF sequel to No Mercy in development. And there was somebody who replied to me that was adamant he had magazines that had preview articles. And I was like, what were they? I'll buy them. I'll buy an issue and fucking scan it. What was it?
Hmm.
And it was, well, I don't remember, but I know I had a magazine with previews, and I was like, the fucking literal like executive producer of the series said that shit did not exist. This guy was arguing with me that Sanders fucking Keel was wrong, and
I mean,
I was just
also
like,
like they could have just put like April Fool's articles out with like bullshit No Mercy screenshots. I don't even think that happened. I'm just saying
I don't think so either, because it would feel like something you'd be able to find
Yeah, it'd be very much like the Mortal Kombat stuff that was done years prior.
in Street Fighter too.
Yeah, exactly.
I I mean, I can't even imagine why you would think they would do a sequel on the N64. The thing I want to see is the alternate universe where they don't thumb their nose at developing on the GameCube and WrestleMania X8's an Aki game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably safe to say it would have gone the same direction as Def Jam when it comes to like the models and like I mean, we've seen WCW what those models would have looked like, right? So,
Yeah, they were
um,
blocky and cartoony.
yeah, I mean, in regards to Backlash, though, it's very much like open and shut when you actually put some thought into it. It's not like a WCW 2000 Mayhem 2 situation where like the lines are a bit blurred of exactly what was going on and what wasn't. You know, it's very open and shut. When you've got Sanders Keel saying no, that wasn't a thing, then that's all there is to it.
And I will say this about WCW 2000 now. It's very obvious when you look at that magazine article that it was basically just backstage assault.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the game previewed in that issue of PSM is not the game. It's 100% the game that like Evan Hanley has found those like tech demo animations from.
Hmm.
Because if you look at it, those models look basically exactly like the Goldberg model, but they look different than the wireframe models with like the voiceover clips, which definitely look blockier and more Def Jam.
Yeah, definitely more like stylized for sure.
And so, like, people have tried to argue for years that they're one and the same. They're not. WCW 2000 was absolutely a preview of, at best, the PS2 version of Backstage Assault. At worst, the story we've heard about, PSM just running with a bunch of assets that they've been given was true.
Hmm.
And that was never what it was good. But there's like fucking quotes and shit in that issue. So did they make those up
It's
too?
so
PSM did not.
confusing.
Yeah, PSM didn't have a reputation for doing shit like that.
I mean, I don't remember what that guy told me on Blue Sky, who used to work for THQ. I can't remember specifically what he said, but you know, he talked about stuff like they were doing like a Vegas themed, talking about a Vegas themed wrestling game at one point, and somebody told, I don't know if it was him or someone else, but someone said like animal themed. Maybe he said that. I can't remember. There's so much stuff around that period that's so confusing, and you'd need like a detective to put it all together. Like I said, as opposed to Backlash, which is pretty straightforward.
Or just me with a bunch of time during the pandemic. I could probably crack the case.
Yeah, if you'd like to. I mean, I can't make it.
Well, give me another fucking global pandemic and give me some unemployment, and I'll do some investigative journalism.
It'd be good if you could, if we could just speak directly to someone that you know has to know that was there at the time and fully knew what was happening. And that's what I tried to do. And I think I actually emailed someone at the time and didn't hear anything back. But
I'd love to
I,
talk to the person whose photo bucket that was, where the Mayhem
oh
2
yeah,
stuff was
yeah.
discovered.
What
Because it should be noted, in his
mhm.
photo bucket, it's specifically listed as Mayhem 2, not WCW 2000.
I remember in that photo bucket too, there was a picture of Nitro Arena, but I think that was from the first Mayhem, right? That's what it looked like to me.
I don't even remember at this point. I know I saved the like wireframe like trash talk pre-match trash talk, which if you look at it, they clearly wanted to implement that in Backstage Assault because there's the
Yeah.
pre-match thing where each guy's posing, and then obviously in Def Jam you have it
Mm.
kind of fully featured.
Yeah, it's like the earliest version of that Def Jam feature. You know, it's one of those things that's just like crazy that got out there, and then see the Evan Hanley stuff and how deep does the rabbit hole go? Like, is there an actual playable demo at some point? You know, it's I'd love to see it.
If what we know about the timeline is accurate, and granted, game development moved much faster in 2000, 2001,
Right.
that game would have been in development for like maybe 4 or 5 months before it got scrapped.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's enough time to get to like where there would even be like a playable like version of the game. I know Scott J claimed he's looked into getting, WCW Mayhem 2 material, but I don't that guy's a grifter.
It's kind of
Like it's
crazy that
plain.
he's selling like actual copies of the definitive editions on disc. I was like, "Phew, all right."
Yeah, I've heard that some of his stuff allegedly uses like stolen mods.
I think I heard that too, actually.
Yeah, and like that whole thing of like, oh, I've acquired a build of Here Comes the Pain that has Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. Why have we not seen evidence then?
Yeah, I mean, I did get one of his like games with like the WWF logo restored. I think it was Here Comes the Pain. At the end of the day, it's not that interesting, to be honest. I mean, you're running regular Here Comes the Pain. You're getting essentially the same experience. I mean, it's cool when you first see it. It's like all these logos and these attires, but when you actually get your hands on it, it's just like, yeah, but it is. It's not that much different at the end of the day.
I want to play as Warrior and Hogan in that game at least once.
That would be cool. I mean, yeah, that's like a significant change, but like all the other stuff just feels like minuscule, as in comparison to that.
Yeah, like how in like Shut Your Mouth, he's put back like the WWF logo, restored the Attitude like rounded eagle belt, and that stuff.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
cool. That's not going to lead me to playing like another 40 hours in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
no, exactly.
Whereas like the stuff Randy's doing with, I mean, I've poured a ton of time into Born to Be Wired. I'm going to pour a ton of time into Backlash.
Yeah, I mean, those are legitimately changing the game and adding new features and stuff that it's not just changing logos, it's adding move animations and match types and objects and just madness.
Yeah, like it's changing the base game so much that I'm comfortable calling them.
Yeah.
Um, has there been an update at all on any of the indie wrestling games?
Uh there might be some stuff in the UPW Q&A. They updated their website with like the promotions and like profiles and stuff like that. There hasn't been like a video update in the past few months. Um, I think they're still talking about like maybe trying to present to publishers, hoping to get a publisher on board. Um, Virtual Basement. I haven't heard anything since they said it's not dead, and then they went quiet again. Um, Other than that, I think Casual Pro Wrestling had an update recently, but I haven't checked it out. I might be wrong. I thought I heard someone talking about that. Underground World War, the Def Jam inspired brawlers had some updates recently. Um so I'm still keeping an eye on that. I think the animations look kind of stiff, but I think the idea that he's even doing something like that is really cool. But I haven't actually had a chance to play it myself yet.
I'm looking at the replies to the Virtual Basement We're Not Dead tweet, and it is very interesting that there are still people who are like, add WWF legend Dusty Rhodes and Sweet Sapphire to the Wrestling Code video game roster TWC. This person is smoking crack. And like they've got really defensive with people. Like, where's the thing here? Um, because there was one of these replies where they were like, "We owe you nothing," basically.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't work on the game. We never ask for donations, pre-orders. We're building this game because we want to, or choose to rather. We also decided to share our journey and experience. No one is forcing you to follow along. It's weird entitlement. Who are you exactly? That's a great way to talk to like your potential fucking uh like customers.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I don't it's like people want to support your product and you're saying like, "Oh, we don't owe you anything." And that you're why would you want to drive people away like that? I don't
I
get it.
don't understand why they think people are still going to be rocking with this game if it takes another 3 years to come out.
I don't know, that whole thing is fucking strange.
It just feels like a really silly thing to do, but what
I
do I
know.
know?
I know that when I checked out that thread of like we're not dead, there was still someone that was like, "Oh, I believe in you guys. I have faith in you guys." And then I was like, "Where does this faith come from?" And there was like no response to it because what could you possibly say?
Oh, completely unrelated, but it looks like there's an Alan Moore Swamp Thing DC compact coming out.
Okay, cool.
Collects like 8 issues of Saga of the Swamp Thing, and there's a Harley and Ivy book by Paul Dini coming out.
I like how Alan Moore's doing like BBC audio stuff. And like they made a, I just think it's funny considering Alan Moore, and they did a post that looks exactly like the Superman movie, but it was him. And I was like, that's pretty funny. I like that.
Alan Moore is great. It's a shame that he's not able to have the rights to the characters he created.
Yeah.
Because as long as we reprint this shit once every X amount of years, you don't get your shit back. Which is always why it's so weird to me that I mean I get it. He got like really jaded by that experience. I wish he had done something with Image in the '90s,
Hmm.
but it is what it is. He's good. Watchman's good. That Swamp Thing run's apparently fucking incredible.
I'll probably get that. I mean, why not?
Oh, I went to the comic shop and picked up like 6 weeks of shit yesterday, and I got the IDW Classics Godzilla book, and I'm like
Yeah, I got that.
a
Yeah.
hundred some pages into it. Those are actually basically like 1-to-1 in terms of like the feel and the like the paper stock used. Those are like 1-to-1 the TMNT trades that I have. They're like, as far as those digest trades go, they're the closest to a proper trade paperback that we're getting from any of those lines. I know
Hmm.
that Marvel just did the 6x9 Daredevil ones, but those are $25. The IDW ones are 14. And they're basically like 600 pages for $14 is ridiculous, especially when Marvel released Welcome Back Frank, which is a great story, but that's like maybe 290 pages for $15, and DC's done a couple of those compacts that are like sub 100 pages for $10.
Yeah.
Like IDW is like, here's 600 for fucking 14. And there's
Yeah.
the Mirage Turtles books coming out, like 544 pages for like $14. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I jumped on the that Turtles set when I saw that. What you sent me the link, and I was like, yep, pre-ordered. I also pre-ordered the Rocketeer. I've never read that. And I haven't actually seen the movie since I was a kid. But I'm looking forward to reading it, like maybe revisiting the movie after I read that book. So, Godzilla, I've had for a while. I haven't dove into that. I'm way behind on my comic stuff. Like I've got loads of stuff that I haven't read yet. So I need to get into it. But I love
Oh, I
these
know the
little
feeling.
collections. These collections are so cool. You know, it's like they're cheap, and they should be they should be everywhere. And I mean, we've talked about it. Like every single brand should be doing something like this. I would really love to see. There was like a Kickstarter collection went up a year ago for like a full Terminator collection, and it's like these big heavy books, and it's just like, God damn, I wish they would just make like something like this. That's cheaper and easy to pick up. But hopefully that'll happen at some point.
I guess when Image reprints the Reckless book by Ed Brubaker, they're going to do digest size, which is cool.
Yeah.
Image are like the biggest offenders to me of the digest size books because other than like Paper Girls, it's like pay us $15 for a digest size version of a trade that we sell for $20.
Hmm.
Nothing extra. And I love those little Invincible books. I ended up giving all of them to somebody I work with as like a Christmas present, but like if those Invincible Compact compendiums had actually, materialized, it's so weird. The Facebook post for those is like still up, but they deleted the tweet and the Instagram post.
Hmm.
I would have probably bought the Invincible Compact compendiums just because the idea of having like 6x9 compendiums is like one, those things are gonna fall the fuck apart, but like just the novelty factor
Yeah.
of having them. I've been a big fan of these ever since I got my hands on the DC compacts. I remember a lot of like YouTubers being like, "Oh, these are gonna fail," and they're like the single best-selling graphic novel series that's out right now.
Yeah, I mean, everyone should be like I said, everyone should be doing this. Should be all different brands. Like there should be Simpsons in that line or that style. There should be like He-Man and Ghostbusters and like everything. You know, they should be making
Power
new
Rangers
comics.
from Boom Studios is getting
Yeah,
a compact release. I saw.
yeah. I think you mentioned that in the last one, but yeah, it's. I wish we could get the WCW comics. Like I know they're not going to re-release them or anything, but I would love to have that.
A collected edition would be wild.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
I saw that Marvel's doing the premiere collection for Avengers Time Runs Out and Secret Wars, which is
Mm,
great. Like Hickman's Secret Wars is dope. I have the oversized hardcover from a few years ago. It's awesome. But my thing is like by the time those books come out, we're going to be approaching the 2-year anniversary of the line being announced.
right.
Where are the fucking X-Men?
It's a good question.
Like, cool, we got Welcome Back Frank. Cool, we're getting fucking Planet Hulk. I'm never going to complain about a Hulk book. Why are we getting Tom King's fucking Vision book before we get like Fatal Attractions or Mutant Massacre or Extinction Agenda or Age of Apocalypse or fucking New X-Men? Like either like just shrink down the Epic collections for either volume of New X-Men or fucking Astonishing X-Men. That would be a good one.
You
Like
think they're waiting until like they introduce the new X-Men live action?
I could see it. My other thing is like you have like X-Men 97 premiering this summer. Why are you not gearing up to have an X-Men book that comes out alongside it?
Right. And you've got the Wolverine game coming out uh supposedly this year. You could release some stuff surrounding that as well.
It's got a launch date. It's sometime in like September.
Yeah, I think so.
And like they did those Daredevil trades that were $25, and I'm not knocking those. Those are awesome. They're basically mini epic collections.
Mm.
And they've got like Superior Foes of Spider-Man coming out, $25, 6x9 trim size. But then they've got a Spider-Man Brand New Day book that's the same price point and trim size as the DC Compact editions. And it's like, can you figure out what the fuck you want your publishing like wing to do, and can you just stick to that shit maybe?
Yeah.
Like I understand DC's eating their lunch because the Absolute Universe caught on, and like the Compact line was
Hell yeah.
like when I saw like the Compact line, I was like, this is such an obvious slam dunk.
Yeah.
And they're still on YouTube. You can go find all the people that are like, who are these for? This is a misguided attempt to get manga readers. I know a lot of people that have fucking started reading comics either again or for the first time because they're like, oh, fucking Batman Hush is $10 or Watchmen's $10.
Yeah, that's why I jumped on all this. I didn't there was a lot of stuff that I hadn't read and I was like, "Oh, wait, they're affordable now? Like really affordable?" Absolutely. And I also think
Yeah,
like I've never seen them at like the front counter in like a grocery store or anything like that. But sometimes having the comics at the front of the store was like that when you were a kid was how you discovered them. So I think having those compact collections in that same way now is how a lot of people are probably finding these too. So I think that's a great idea. I mean, they're so easy to just like place anywhere, right? Um,
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, definitely. Like like I said, there's a lot of stuff, and I was like, I've seen like the Hush animation and all this different stuff, but I've never actually read the book. So having them now, it's just like, oh yeah, I see why they're so popular, and it was so easy to read, and I can place them anyway because they don't take up a lot of space. It makes all the sense in the world. I don't know how anyone could really be against it, to be honest.
Oh, there's like omnibus collectors that are like super salty that those Spider-Man books are being done digest size, or that the Daredevil Charles Soule run got done as like digest size books. They're more affordable. They're easier to fucking carry around. I saw somebody in like the Image Comics, it might be the Image Reddit, that was like, oh, the idea of a compact compendium is hilarious because I don't understand why people want to read while they travel. And it's like, you can't figure that one out? You
What?
can't figure out why if you're on the train or in the car or on a fucking plane for a long time, you might want to bust out a book for a couple hours?
Yeah, I mean, that's that is very strange.
my whole thing last year when I went to when I was gonna go to Dallas for All In was like, that's a fucking like 3 hour plane ride. I'm taking like Watchmen, Court of Owls, and fucking Daredevil Born Again for the trip there, and I'm taking these 3 books for the trip back.
Yeah, I mean, when I would travel down from Mania, I would like download movies off Netflix and load them up on my phone and watch those. But if I had new books to read or something, I definitely would have done that. Like, why not?
Yeah, like the idea that the digest sized books are somehow a bad thing, it mainly just comes from like the quote unquote hardcore comic collectors, and those guys are fucking losers.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, like there's like such a huge part of the main wall that used to just be the newest single issues at the comic shop I go to. Like they took like a whole section of that wall and just made it the compacts and
Yeah,
the
it's
premier
awesome.
collections and the image digests and the IDW classics. Like I like my omnibus collection. If they could have split some of those books up and just offered them to me as like premier collections and compacts, I would have been supremely happy.
Yeah, I think too. There's probably a lot of people like me that don't go to the comic book shop to get new issues, like single issues, and we prefer having the whole complete run so we can read it all in one sitting. Um, and we don't necessarily care about like, oh, I need to find out what happens next week. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's a lot of people like me like that. So when we see these and think the complete run, it's like, oh, awesome! I can just buy this and don't have to buy anything else after that. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. So like I said, it just makes all the sense in the world.
I um I need DC to realize that they need to start putting out compacts of the absolute line like right now.
Yeah, that's something that I've been waiting for sure.
Because at the rate they're going, it's going to be years. And like, yes, I know they have the trades and the hardcovers that come out, and you have your choice of those two. I really think if you look at the success of the compact line, it's very silly to not slam together like two of those, or even really go for it and slam 3 of those absolute Batman trades together and shove them out the door and see how many copies you sell.
Yeah, you should be featuring your current products as part of the line as well. It doesn't necessarily just have to be like classics and everything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be evergreen.
Yeah.
I saw that they announced Batman and Son, like the Grant Morrison book, that's coming out. Like, I think it's coming out the same day as Secret Wars and Avengers Time Runs.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one. The Swamp Thing one, 100%. I'm getting. I poked through the Tom King Supergirl book at the comic shop, and I was like, oh yeah, no, everything I've heard about this book is true. The art is really nice. Too bad it's written by Tom King, which I
Yeah,
said
I
out loud at the comic shop.
I have that. I haven't read it yet.
I just think that guy's an asshole.
I get it. Like I know he was like a CIA guy and all that's crazy shit. It's just like I don't know enough about it to necessarily be offended if that makes any sense. Like I know like he was probably into some did a lot of probably gross shit, you know what I mean?
Oh, he
It's
he
just like
tor- he like helped torture people in Afghanistan. Yeah.
well, yeah, that's some really gross shit. It's just like I didn't read anything necessarily about him. So I was just like I don't really know the whole story, but yeah, that sounds pretty gross.
There's also that video of him like making fun of Frank Miller to Frank Miller's face from a couple of years ago.
There's also this weird thing with comics where it's like I think more about the brand name than the writers, and I think that's maybe silly, but it's just the way I sort of view things. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot of like comics writers that are assholes. Like John Byrne's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
He's also like involved writing and drawing some really good stuff and some really bad stuff too.
I see that.
But like
Is it Chuck
the degree
Dixon?
to which
That's like getting
uh
his name out there as a really big asshole.
that doesn't really shock me.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Rob Liefeld's kind of a fucking asshole too.
what is with
Which
these guys?
I mean, Rob Liefeld's excuse is he became really successful basically as like a late teen and in his early 20s. Some of these guys are just fucking pieces of shit their whole lives.
Mm,
And like, I the Neil Gaiman stuff is awful and it's terrible.
yeah,
I think DC were right to fucking pull the compact book and the reprints of Superman or Superman Jesus Christ Sandman they were doing. I really wish they felt the same way about, like a legitimate fucking war criminal and CIA asset that they fucking have an exclusive contract with, but
Well, he's like fully in. He's in deep because I mean he's like behind the
oh yeah,
London show and. Well, you know what the excuse is that it's like, how do you put it? It's like working for the government. Obviously, you can get away with a lot. Neil Gaiman, someone who that abused people and didn't work for the government, you're not going to get away with that shit as easily. You know what I mean? So it's like, it sounds it's horrible. Don't get me wrong, but that's
I
kind of the
just
way
don't think they
things.
should protect the CIA asset industry plant. That's just kind of my
No.
whole thing with it. I saw people got really mad at Grant Morrison because I guess somebody involved with the Lantern show made a comment that they tried to backpedal and say it was a joke, and Grant Morrison was basically like, "Yeah, fuck you." And I saw
That's
people.
it. Wasn't
I
it wasn't really a backpedal to be honest. There was like uh, Damon Lindelof. Is that his name? I can't pronounce it. He was on like a comedy show and said like we don't call them Greenlanders because that's stupid or something. Literally in the trailer, Hal Jordan calls himself the Green Lantern, so it was kind of a nothing thing, and people make a big deal of it.
it's because a lot of people involved in these fucking projects on both sides have a clear contempt for like the fact that they're doing comic book shit. Whether this
Yeah,
guy does or he doesn't is irrelevant. We've had like decades of it at this point where the people involved making comic book related live action stuff are just fucking ashamed that they're doing comic book stuff. And I saw people like, well, Grant Morrison's not a good writer anyway. Fuck you.
he ended up apologizing for his comments. Uh, I Damon Lindelof like responded to it, and like I think Grant Morrison was like, "Oh, I didn't, I think he said he didn't even watch the trailer." Um, but yeah, it just seemed like a nothing thing that people tried to make a big deal out of. I mean, the suit that they show in the trailer is like brownish colored, but I don't think that's like how it was supposed to be. If you know what I mean? Like it's a one.
I've not watched the trailer. I saw
Ah,
the quote and I saw Grant Morrison's comments and I was
yeah,
like, oh yeah, we're just fucking saying the quiet part out loud about being involved with comic book adaptations. And my
right,
biggest issue, honestly, with the whole thing was people acting like Grant Morrison's not like one of the greatest comic writers of all time. Like, I don't
yeah.
know, man. Arkham Asylum, All Star Superman. He had a great Batman run. He wrote a Green Lantern run. Fucking New X Men's maybe the best X Men run ever.
Well, people will go to any length to defend what they believe in, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you've done like the greatest shit on earth. If people like something else and you're against it, then they'll shit all over you. That's usually how it is.
Well, people have spent decades now just like Alan Moore's just bitter. Like, no, they fucked him.
Yeah, like, but yeah, they're gonna see how they see them, right? Like, so it's the way it is.
Yeah, and you don't have to defend the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate superhero movies from a guy who himself was a very successful writer. I'm not saying you're doing that, obviously,
No, I mean, I
but people
watched the
do it with the
trailer.
MCU too.
Yeah, of course. I watched the trailer and I actually didn't like it the first time I watched it. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, I could see maybe there's something to this. I do like Kyle Chandler a lot. And everything I've seen him in, I really think he's a good actor. And so I'm gonna give it a shot. I mean, if I don't like it at the end of the day, I don't like it. If I like it, I like it. You know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm gonna
watch,
force you to watch
honestly.
it.
No, that's not happening. I watched episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again season 2.
I have not
It was a
watched
thing
that
I
yet.
watched.
Yeah,
I
I,
saw
I
people like, oh, they fixed Born Again, and I watched that episode, and I was just kind of like, yeah, there's stuff happening here. None of it's particularly interesting.
it was really kind of weird to see the Punisher in that Spider-Man trailer because it just
Yeah, I
feels like
can't
such.
wait for him to be like, hey, Bug, let me at you something.
It just feels like such a different world and like the separation between. I mean, there's still a separation between TV and movies. So to see him with Spider-Man was just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, did we talk about that last time? I don't remember if we did. We
No, I
might
don't
have.
think so.
I I did not see No Way Home because I saw clips of it and was like, oh, this looks like shit. we're not doing this one. I saw that trailer and was like, oh yeah, no, they'll get me in the theater for that one.
I'm sure I'll go see it, but like it's hard for me to get excited for anything Marvel these days. Like
Well, I'm not
people
excited
were
about shit that they've got coming out except X-Men. I just saw that and was like, this looks significantly less bad than the last Spider-Man movie they did.
right. I'm just saying like the reaction you see online to some things is so over the top. Maybe it's just because I'm old and I'm just like, oh, okay. I don't really get excited for a lot these days when it comes to movies. I mean, I really love Superman and I was excited to see that. I'm sure I'll see Supergirl, but I'm not necessarily excited for it. It feels like there's no marketing behind it right now. Mortal Kombat 2, like I definitely want to see that, but it's like, when that movie was delayed, people like lost their shit. I was like, we have to wait for it. And I'm like, yeah, you do. That's how movies work. You have to wait for everything. It is what it is.
I'm less optimistic about that movie. I think it looks better than the 2021 movie, but
Well, I just heard that like a lot of the test screenings went well. I mean, we'll see. I hope like the director was able to learn a lot from the first movie. I mean, it was his first movie, right? Really, I think he just did like music videos and stuff before that. I would like it if the movie was more like the opening than the rest of the fight scenes, because like the opening with Scorpion and Sub Zero had like room to breathe, as opposed to like the fight scenes in the rest of the movie, which are like very slash and cut and MTV esque. So
yeah, how do you not bring in choreographers from like Hong Kong
I
for this
don't know
shit?
who they had working on it.
I would have went and found whoever the fuck like the preeminent fight choreographers in Hong Kong were, and I would have put them both, like all of them. I got like six of
Yeah.
them. I'll put them all on that shit.
Did you see the trailer
I
for The
would have.
Furious?
I didn't, but I'll say this: I would have found whoever did the fight choreography for that show Warrior, and I would have
Right,
put
right.
them on that fucking movie.
Um, yeah, The Furious is like it's a Japanese director slash actor. I think I didn't recognize his name, and it's the dude that plays Sub Zero in that. And
Oh, Andrew Koji? No, Joe Taslim. Joe Taslim.
yeah, it looks wild. It's got like Mad Dog from the Raid, and this dude jumping on top of people in an octagon, and he's like hitting them with hammers and shit, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just kind of looking at the trailer with no audio on right now. This is wild.
I thought it was like a new Fast and Furious movie because I saw an account that popped up as like the Furious will beat Supergirl or some shit, and I was like, what the hell is the Furious? And I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to see this for sure.
I saw the trailer for that Stranger Than Heaven game they're doing, and I thought the
Mm.
Like a Dragon stuff was all turn based now, but this doesn't appear to be.
No, the Infinite Wealth stuff is like turn based. I don't know if the pirate one is or not. I felt like the main series was still just the way it was. I saw that Snoop's in it. That
Like this looks cool.
yeah, it does. I like this. Did you see the scene where he rides his bike down like a hallway and it's like first person perspective? That looked cool.
Yeah, I I saw that Marvel Maximum collection dropped, and I also saw like a review where like the cons, like the first con that was listed was like most of these games are objectively bad. Like fuck off.
What games are a part of that again?
So X-Men Arcade,
Mhm.
uh,
That's a great game.
Maximum Carnage, and Separation Anxiety, both of which I think are really good games.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer, which I've only played one time in my entire life, and it was really hard, so I just never played it again. And then multiple versions of Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge, which is
Okay.
notoriously not great. And then I think Cap and the Avengers, you get like the Genesis, the arcade, and the NES version. And I like the NES version. It's completely different than the arcade version. It's like a side-scrolling like platformer.
It's the X-Men game we played again.
What now?
What was the X-Men game that we played that was on Super Nintendo?
Mutant Apocalypse.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, and
That
I saw people saying like they should have had like the Capcom and Sega games, and it's I don't think Capcom's letting anybody release their shit for them.
no, definitely not.
And the Sega ones are interesting because like would Sega actually care if somebody like Like, is it really cutting into any of your shit if somebody puts out X-Men and X-Men Clone Wars and Spider-Man the arcade game?
Yeah, I could see them having someone do that.
And I saw somebody like, I really wish the Spider-Man 32X game was
Isn't
included.
that?
Have you ever seen footage of that game?
I think so.
It's very interesting graphically. Uh, that's about all I can say positive about it. By the way, if you're inclined to buy a copy of that 32X game, it's like $1,500.
Oof.
Yeah, it's fucking obnoxious. Like it's so expensive. I my hope is this does well enough to where we get another like miscellaneous Marvel game collection because I would like Mutant Apocalypse. I would like War of the Gems. I would like Mutant Apocalypse and War of the Gems with the action replay code that makes all of your powers like one button, like in the training mode in Mutant Apocalypse. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would love to have X-Men and X-Men 2 Clone Wars preserved because I think like Clone Wars is the best like Marvel game of that era. It's so good. The music's great. The graphics are great. The levels are massive. You can play as fucking Magneto. Oh, it's such a great game.
They
And
need to always put in like the Game Boy and like the handheld versions because I miss the days when handheld versions of the games were different than the main consoles. You
yes,
know, everything now has to be the same across multiple consoles, and you don't get anything unique anymore.
and that's another thing. Like you could license the three X-Men games for the Genesis. You could even do what Digital Eclipse did with the Super NES version of Rayman. You could like rescue the fucking unreleased 32X X-Men game, Mind Games, which was pre-rendered 3D, and it was like
Oh,
a
right,
walk and
right.
brawl beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And there's a build out there where you play as Bishop, but there's also
I
footage of a build with Wolverine.
yeah, I played the Bishop one. Yeah.
It's not great, but like there's potential there.
This stuff's really interesting. Just like if it's possible to include any of it, even if it's not complete, just to have like a version of it and being like, oh, this is something that could have been finished, and like what if, and have like
Exactly.
documents for it and stuff like that. That would be so interesting.
Yeah, like if they could somehow rescue like the other playable characters, because like again, Wolverine was one. I think Rogue was supposed to be one. Iceman was supposed to be one.
Hmm.
Like even if you just give me Wolverine, that's still like because again, I've played the version with Bishop. I'd like to play the version with Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it's such a like the Marvel 2099 game that was coming out on the PlayStation. Would really love to get my hands on a playable build of that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like there's a lot of canceled like superhero games. X Women for the Genesis. There's no footage of it, but allegedly a build was shown at some point.
You could make a full documentary on the cancelled Batman games.
There's a lot. There's yeah.
Did you see the version of GTA 4 that someone found recently?
Somebody referenced that to me. I was watching wrestling with my friends last night, and I guess somebody bought a used 360 that was like a Rockstar dev kit.
Well, here's the thing too. Apparently, like on the user of the Xbox, it said like Les Home or something like that. So they think it's like Leslie Benz. Is it Benz or Benzie? I can't remember his last name, but he's the guy that does like he did that oh, what was that game that came out recently? Mind's Eye. He was the one behind that. He used to work for Rockstar. So the theory is that it was actually his that someone bought. Um, but yeah, super interesting. It's always interesting to see like early versions of games and what changes they went through.
I think people also forget GTA 4 had a couple of delays. Like I know
But
people
yeah,
are upset with like GTA 6, but that game was originally supposed to come out at one point in like the spring of '07, and then it was like the fall of '07, and then it finally drops like what is it, April '08, like the end of April.
God, I remember saying like when that game just before it came out, someone got it early and they were streaming on like UStream, I think it was, and just like I don't think I had really watched a lot of like live stream stuff back then, or like UStream stuff specifically. and just seeing somebody like drive around in this new GTA was like super nuts back then.
It was
That's a
always
great game.
fun seeing like live streams when like people got games early. It was also like a
Yeah.
special thrill for me when I would have the pre-order fully paid off for like the SmackDown games and somebody would get it early and you would just be
Mm.
like, "Fuck, we're doing this again, huh?"
Yep.
I know I've told the story, but like SmackDown '08 leaked like 2 weeks before launch, and that was not that was not a great look for that game because the PlayStation 2 version and the PSP version got outed basically as like, oh yeah, there's like nothing here. They're
Mm.
like tires are unfinished and all of this shit. And the 360 version was the most complete. The PS3 version ran at 30 FPS, which
Shocking.
yeah. Yeah, early cross-platform games did not do super great on the old George Foreman grill.
I remember like when SmackDown 2 leaked and the menus were all screwed up. I can't remember why. Maybe it's because there was a PAL version that was converted or something. I don't remember. But like the menus were all fucked up, so you couldn't really even tell who you were picking until the match started. I remember when Fire Pro D went out there and like it originally had no music, and then people realized that you could start it up without the boot disc, and that would restore the audio. Fun times in the world of piracy.
God bless the Dreamcast. I mean, it wasn't great that they launched a system that you could easily just pirate everything for, but at the same time, as a consumer, God bless you, Sega.
Yeah, it worked well for us. I mean that Dreamcast was like crazy too because you could like run emulators and stuff, and like it was back then. It's like, wait, what do you mean I can play like Super Nintendo games on my Dreamcast and all this shit? It's like kind of unheard of for me, at least at the time.
And then people did that was like the Xbox.
Yeah,
That's like the
I
one
lo-
thing I knew about the Xbox after a certain point was people would just turn that shit into like an emulation machine.
yeah. I mean, I loved my Dreamcast. I had the Sega Sports Edition, and when they talked about being like an arcade at home, they weren't kidding. It felt special. Of course, like the sports games and Dynamite Cop and Talk on Ratsuden 4 and Fire Pro D and Giant
Giant
Graham.
Graham.
I
That
still haven't
weird
seen.
WWF Royal Rumble game.
Yeah, that sucked. I still haven't seen that Brendan Fraser movie, Rent a Family or whatever, where they play Giant Graham in it. I want to see it for that scene alone.
Yeah, that's wacky.
Yeah, of all the games, it's
I
cool.
I wish we could get some more like wrestling games out the door, man. I'm tired of
I
not
hear you.
having
Yeah,
the fucking I'm tired of my only option being giving money to 2K for a game that I'm not gonna like for more than 5 minutes. And it's for a company that I have zero interest in ever watching the current product again.
yeah. I mean, it's sad, and it's the. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but like the state of the video game industry and how wrestling games have followed, basically every other sport that's out there. You've only got one option, and the way the industry has sort of like swallowed competition from other studios and other developers. It's super super sad, and you look back at it like when I was adding stuff to my Steam Deck, and you look back at it, and it's like you look back at like the Super Nintendo, and you have like Hammerlock and Natsume and like just all this stuff, and everything is just gone. It sucks.
Yeah, like I look back, like I wax nostalgic about fucking the early 2000s, but there was a point where development costs were so low relatively that you could get three different WWE games, and even though it was like the one company, all three games were still like a unique experience. Like the GameCube games being the best ones in the ring, the fucking Xbox games were god awful, and then like you had SmackDown, which was SmackDown.
Yeah, I think like consoles becoming so close in like specs and stuff was like one of the worst things to happen in a way, because you don't get anything that's unique. Like I talked about it before, like having the handheld version of, remember like Tony Hawk's Pro Skate on handheld on Game Boy Advance was
Oh yeah,
like
the
its own.
isometric like 2.5D. Those were great. The Game Boy Color
Yeah,
ones were.
it was its own thing, and it felt really cool. You know, you're not going to get anything like that these days because it's all got to be the same across all the platforms. So
It's unfortunate because like people used to rag on like, oh, this looks nice for a Game Boy game. I'd rather we have the Division now, but also I don't
Mm,
because everything's so goddamn expensive. The PlayStation 6 is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what they charge for the alleged handheld of that thing now, knowing what we know. They're raising the PS5 price again,
yep.
and
I don't.
the Switch 2 price might be going up.
It's. I don't know how people are going to buy this new shit. You know,
I
I don't
remember
know.
somebody from Sony making the joke of asking your boss for extra hours to be able to afford the PS3. That's literally the only way you're going to be able to afford a next gen system at this point.
Pretty much. I mean, you they talk about, like GPU prices and stuff, and like how that's outrageous, and
Well,
that
I
like.
have an idea of what we can do about GPU prices and the people that are responsible for it, but I don't think I can
Mhm.
say it on a fucking podcast, even if we do only get listened to by like a handful of people.
No, probably not. Like they had to stop production of like the Steam Deck and stuff because of like we don't have the GPUs for it anymore. It's just insane. Like what a fucking mess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all fucked up, man. This shit sucks.
Yeah, I feel pretty bad about the video game industry for all the advancements in technology and stuff. Like the way everything has just gotten so much worse. Like I brought it up several times, but like all these different versions of games that you had, and now it's just everything is the same. And even if you sell a lot of copies and you're very popular and everyone loves you, the chances of your studio still getting closed is very good. Epic just laid off like 1,000 people. And I was
Yeah,
hearing a
and if
story about.
Fortnite can't make it, who the fuck can?
I was reading that one of the people that they laid off apparently has brain cancer, and no longer
Oh,
has access to insurance because he's no longer employed by Epic. So it's just horrible, horrible stuff.
it's disgusting. I hate it. That's also part of the reason like I enjoy playing Born to Be Wired and Backlash so much. They remind me of like a time when shit did not suck nearly as much as it does now.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
it's
TNA Impact, man, that shit came out smack dab in the middle of the Iraq War, and I'm sitting here playing that like, man, 2008 wasn't so bad.
no, it's terrible. It's like I don't know. I can't imagine things being worse than they are right now. I mean, everything's
Oh,
so
buddy,
over.
they're gonna get worse.
Probably. But I just mean like the way things are overpriced, and
Oh, it's
every
gonna get worse.
and everyone's miserable and everyone's getting fired, and yeah.
Like it is going to get significantly worse. I am just telling you now.
Oh, I'm sure. Like
Like,
as I mean, like I said, I can't imagine, but really, I can. I mean, as like they start to rely more on AI, and I'm sure the prices aren't going to get any lower. So,
Nintendo are raising the prices of the physical games on the Switch too.
yep. And they're suing the government.
Yeah. I saw some shit like even if they are successful, there's a chance they don't get the fucking tariff money back.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all fucking stupid. There's a bunch of people that voted for this, and it was never about lower gas prices and lower egg prices. It was always about trans people and immigrants. And it's funny because you'll still hear the fucking idiots that voted for this shit talk about those two issues, but they won't say a word about gas prices or food prices now.
No, because they like to lie to
They
themselves,
they didn't vote for anything to get better. They voted for life to get worse to people that weren't bothering them at all.
and they've done a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, and it's going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets any better. And there's the 250-year theory that's out there about like, fucking global powers that rise and eventually after 250 years they've had their run. Yeah, we turned 250 on July 4th. It's ball game.
Yeah.
We're gonna bankrupt this country for a fucking war that we don't need to be fighting because the fucking guys over there have a list that basically says every one of our elected officials is a fucking piece of shit.
I'm very glad that we've sort of distanced ourselves from you guys. I mean, we're still neighbors, so anything happens would affect us definitely. But like, yeah, sort of glad we've made other alliances at this point.
Yeah, well, when the shit goes down, we'll see who gets roped into it.
I'm sure we will. It's just, I'm glad that we aren't taking part in the stuff in Iran.
Not yet.
True.
Like I said, when the shit goes down, like when it really hits the fucking fan, we're gonna see who gets pulled into it. If every other country that backed us during the shit 20 years ago was smart, they'll just be like, "Oh no, you got BB the bomber. Have fun."
Yeah.
I didn't vote for this shit. My mom didn't vote for this shit. The majority of people I know that are willing to admit what they voted for didn't vote for this shit. And it's insane to me you can be dragged along into something like this because a bunch of people were really upset about trans people and immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell the story. I don't give a fuck. I had to do a carryout at work, and I did not clearly see what this person had on their hat, or I would not have done it. I get out to their car, and I see a "Let's Go Brandon" sticker on the back, and I turn, and I see this person wearing a Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president hat. And I was
Oh my
like, oh,
god.
fuck you. And then it dawns on me, these are the same people when I started where I work now. They argued with me about gift receipts and then tried to, give me your name because I'm going to call corporate. And it's like, oh, what's wrong, Snowflake? You mad you can't get a gift receipt for your fucking relative that's just going to return the shit anyway?
Yeah.
And they had shit on the back of their car like, if you can see this, you're within range. We no trespassing. We have a gun and a backhoe, and it's like you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't understand
Oh,
these people
the
at
woman
all.
was in the fucking wheelchair the whole way through the store. Got up when I did the fucking the carryout. Got up and walked like nothing was wrong.
She did the Kevin Nash.
Basically, yeah. And fucking, they have like a service dog with them for what? I don't know. I feel bad that dog has to live with those people.
We have a lot of like strange people here too. Is like they were talking about building a like an explosives factory. I was like, oh, that sounds fun. And people are like, I don't want explosives in my backyard. And like people in the comments before anyone had even said anything, they're like, here comes the liberals and the Karens. And like, do you want explosives in your backyard? Like, I mean, why is that a liberal thing? It's people are very strange.
There's also a chance those comments are from bots.
Nah. I know the people in the city. There's a lot of people that are fucked in the head. Really stupid people.
Yeah, I can say the same for my area. It's disgusting.
It's funny because we're a liberal province, but you wouldn't think so. Just like walking up and down the street.
Yeah, I can imagine. The world sucks, man.
Yep, sure does. Well, this is very depressing.
Mm.
Video
I'm
games
trying to think of a
sucks.
follow up.
The world sucks. I mean,
This is how we end every episode at this point.
Born to be Wired is good.
Yeah. Backlash preview is good. The Pinnacle collection figures are awesome. If you
Yeah.
want to buy them now, they're going to be significantly more expensive than they were when the pre-orders were up.
WWE LJNs are pretty cool, and I've been getting sent black cards from Walmart, so that's another cool thing.
It's really weird to me. We don't have Series 3 yet, like pictures or anything, like a reveal.
Yeah, that is quite strange.
Because what we had heard was Target was all in on this shit, and we know they announced Punk and Jey Uso at San
And The
Diego
Rock,
Comic
right?
Con. The Rock wasn't announced, but somebody did end up. I think it was Retro Wrestling Revolution on Instagram has the prototype.
Right.
So like Rocky's probably in Series 3, which I don't have a problem with. It's fucking Rocky. Um, I don't know what they're gonna do with like the because they're gonna do Demolition at some point, right? They have to.
I would hope so.
And how do you do Smash so that he doesn't look so obviously like he comes from a different line than that Axe?
Hmm.
Because to me, I wouldn't do a remake or a reissue of Axe. I would remake that figure.
I think that's what you have to do because I don't think that face paint really works if you want to do like a demolition now.
Because that's like early, like
Yeah,
first few months Demolition,
exactly.
and I don't think they're gonna do that. They're gonna do the white, red, black paint on Smash, 100%.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah, God forbid we get Smash with the red, white, and black, like in the Classic Superstars 3-pack.
Yeah.
That figure ruled. I
I saw Axe Mattel went up on Walmart.ca. It was already sold out, and that sucked because I could really do with like 6-inch demolition.
I wish the ringside ones had the straps molded on because I like those head sculpts way more than the Mattel ones.
Yeah, it's just I think the Mattel are pretty good enough for what I want. I don't want to pay like getting them from ringside if shipping is going to cost me over $100, and I don't want to pay that.
That's understandable. To circle back to ringside, I really do need them to start like giving a rough time frame on when stuff's going to come in. I want that Sabu.
I would like them to just announce like I want more than one. You know what I mean? It's like the roadies were announced, and then Demolition was announced, and then Joe Henry. And it's like, can we just get like a few announcements? You know what I mean? Instead of one at a
Like
time.
just talent announcements and like a render. Like what's wrong with like if the render's different than the final version, I don't care. I want to know
Yeah,
who's coming.
yeah. It sort of helps the consumer sort of like plan things out as opposed to like who's a part of other lines and stuff and how everything stacks up. Yeah, I just want them to announce a few different people.
I'm still kicking the tires of buying the Dudley's Ultimates on ringside. I, if I'm only gonna own one pair of Dudley Boys figures, that should probably be the one. But I also just, that's all I can
Kind
say.
of, I kind of feel like I'm good just maybe at one point just getting the ECW figures. But I'm
Oh, like
also
the
like,
actual ECW
yeah, I'm also
figures.
very ECW centric now because I'm watching it from the start. So,
I got my ECW Blu-rays a couple of days ago. They're wonderful.
are they just like the Reese dub?
It's Reese Dub. Basically, it's a combination of Reese Dub and like I think one of the other like projects.
This
Because
is
I guess,
from the site that I can't get in.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, there was somebody I guess that got scammed on eBay buying like a set that guy put out, and he broke the rule. Like he flat out said, like I broke the rule of not adding new members to add this guy to the group, and I was like, oh, that's like the first new member in like 2 years at this point.
It's bullshit.
It is, yeah. Those ECW sets are really nice, though. I like them. It's nice having like a hard copy of Reese Dub.
So do they have like menus and like cover art and everything, or is it just the plastic
Yeah.
sleeve? Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's covers and like the discs have like the logo and like it tells you what like this episode to this episode. And there's like a general main menu, and then when you go to like the title select, it just lists the episodes. It's not like an interactive. It doesn't look like a commercially produced product.
See, I have the software to do that. I bought TMPG and ENC authorizing work 7. So I could do that stuff, but it's like I always get stuck on like what I want to do and like how much space, like, you know, the, how much quality I'm losing by adding too much to a disc and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I'd rather just have someone do it for me. You know what I mean? So
That's why you
I'm
grab those like quad layer Blu-ray discs and you just put every motherfucking thing you want on them.
yeah, I think mine are like 25 gig, and then like,
Oh,
but
those
it's
are single layer. That's what
yeah.
AEW uses for their commercial releases. That's why they look like shit.
Yeah, and it's like they fill up quite fast, and I'm like, I don't want to lose that much quality. But and now I'm just like, I just got these. I got a USB for something else, and they sent me another one by accident, Amazon. So I ended up getting two, and I've just been like putting the ECW stuff on the USB and like watching it on, plugging it in on the TV downstairs, the big TV. So that's what I'm doing right now.
I mean, you save a lot of space doing it that way. I have like
Yeah.
way too many things on my bookshelf as
That's
it
true.
is.
I'm still a fan of like getting things physically, but sometimes the choice is just like digital's really better to go with right now.
Yeah, and also like there are people that do like WWE vault sets, but they don't section it out to like different stuff from the WWE vault. So it's like if I want the Piper and Buzz Sawyer dog collar match on like a disc, I have to buy a vault set that comes with like everything else that was uploaded for like the 3 months around it.
Yeah,
And fuck that.
I'm like really into like just splitting things by year, and not like I don't like, you see people sell like the full Raw from like '93, say, and I don't like that because like I feel like if I'm just getting the Raws and I'm not getting like the superstars or whatever, like I'm not getting the full experience. So like when I've been getting the ECW Recdub, I'm also looking for fan cams so I can like add those and split them by months and everything like that. So I'm getting everything that I possibly can. Um, yeah, I just feel like when you focus on one show, it's like you're not getting everything, obviously. So
It's just the way that like the tape trading stuff used to work. People would only
yeah,
want like a season set of this or a season set of that.
yeah, I know. And I used to, that's how I used to do things. I used to get like the Saturday nights 1987 and stuff like that, or like New Japan WPW from like 97 and stuff. But looking back, I'm just like, I want the most complete stuff. So
I wish like all hell that there was like people out there, not IVP, because IVP sets are fucking dog shit. Um, but I wish there were people out there doing full season sets of like old New Japan TV, like
yeah,
95 in particular would be a hoot to have.
yeah. I took the '97 Dome show, and I was like taking footage from the TV and like adding in like the entrances and like, but also the matches from New Japan World. So it was like the most complete version of that, but it was also like very tedious to do. So I think that was the only show I did.
Yeah, I appreciate the people that do that and put the cut content back in.
Mm.
Like that's again, I love Reese Dub. I have Raw sets that have that stuff. I have the Saturday Night's Main Event. I have the WrestleMania ones that people have done.
Yeah,
I uh, I just wish that the more niche wrestling that I'm interested in got the same treatment.
yeah, of course. Like the more the better, right?
Yeah, like there's all that Honor Club footage that I don't even know if it's been upscaled, but there's a chance that it has. And if it has, can we just put the DVDs entrances back in and shit? That's
Yeah,
another thing I hate. Honor Club just has the individual matches from those old ROH DVDs. So like if you load up Manhattan Mayhem, you don't get fucking Cabana on the streets outside the venue doing good times, great memories, like running up to
mm,
people on the fucking street.
yeah,
And you lose so much when you lose all of the fucking contextual segments and shit like that.
it's very frustrating for like Japan releases too, because you can get like say an FMW anniversary show and there's like different versions of that, and like, but there's also like the Tokyo Pop releases, so you want the best quality, but if you're a completist, you also want like the entrances from this version, and it's all different quality, and it's annoying.
I have no memory. I'm looking at the lineup for those Saitama shows now that the WWE did.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero memory that they showed so much contempt for the fans that they booked a John Cena Orlando Jordan match on that SmackDown.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's rough. I know they put the Rey Mysterio Kurt Angle match from that SmackDown up, and it's a rare miss from them in that era.
Yeah, WWE Japan shows are always have like a weird feeling to them for some reason for me.
Yeah, I wish we could get the one from around Mania 18 where they did like a Fuji TV special with fucking like Naoya Ogawa's like shown like hanging out at Mania 18, and
Yeah,
you get the Rock and Jericho match that Jericho claims is the best match they had together, which would be interesting because those guys had really great like chemistry as opponents. And from what you can see of it from the clipped version that aired on Japanese TV, certainly seemed like a really good match with a really hot crowd. And for anybody that wonders why like Rocky might have had a high point total in relative to other people in like Fire Pro D and why he makes the cut for the Fire Pro Z strat guide. That motherfucker was over. They did the
hmm
full like if you smell what the Rock is cooking bit with him after the match.
yeah. Like I remember him being like, I remember that show in particular being like really hot, based on like the footage we've seen and like the pictures and stuff. And I think that was the one with Muto on commentary, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and I think he shook the Rock's hand, and yeah, the Ogawa at WrestleMania was funny because I remember him talking about going to like Hogan's house, and that's where he got the tights for the Hulk Hogan gimmick. Like Hogan gifted him his tights, and or maybe his mask. It was maybe like a mask, the Mister America gimmick or something. I think that would have been later though. Um, but yeah, so it's just like funny stuff like that. But yeah, I've always wanted to see that show unfold. It looked really interesting, and also like the setup because I think they had like the barricades, but like blue barricades. Uh, or like Craig barricades with like blue logos on them or something. I can't remember exactly. I think maybe the Ukes logo was on one of them, but it's just like a slightly different setup that looked, you know, different than what you would see from WWF TV at the time. So it always looked interesting to me.
I wonder if somebody on Archive has that show, like the TV airing. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Uh no, it does not look as though it's on here, which is unfortunate because I used to have a copy of that and then oh god, there's a raw mod on Archive and it's in
Hmm.
Russian.
Oh, nice.
So I owned the PC version of this game, but I never had a computer that could run it when I got it. And then I had to pirate the game at one point because I was missing the first disc because I put it in a computer that my cousin left at our house,
Hmm.
and I forgot to take the disc out. Shit happens. I don't know if the PC version is significantly worse than the Xbox version. I would imagine it would be very hard for it to be significantly worse.
I think it's probably. I haven't heard anything. I mean, I haven't really looked into it, but I haven't heard like any real differences.
Shout outs to whoever it is just uploading Brock matches from '02 on Archive. That's something I would have been pretty jacked about like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What is going on here? It's just like gameplay videos of like WWF games, but it's not like beta builds. It's just somebody uploading a let's play of WWF Attitude.
Yeah, there's like spot videos or GameStop, all that type of shit's on there, like G4 TV.
Dude, I wish I could find all of the GameSpot videos that was like their coverage of the games, like Mania 18 and 19 in particular. Because I remember my cousin and I, like, when Mania 19 was first revealed, we like poured over that footage of like Undertaker and Ray. that was shown off, and we were like, "This looks so much better than 18. This looks so fucking much better."
I
And
wish that
then,
I wish that WWF '98 footage was still around. I think it was removed from YouTube.
oh, you gotta be shitting me!
I think so.
Isn't the isn't it still on the wrestling video games account?
Oh, isn't that just screenshots though?
I thought they had like, you might be right. Oh, there's a beta trailer on here, but I think this is after it became like regular ass like the Warzone we know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
it is.
a long time ago somebody actually had like footage of the red, white, and blue ropes.
Hold on. No. I'll be goddamned. I don't think it's on here anymore.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because that game has like way different animations for like selling and stuff than the like the final released game did.
Yeah, that's another thing that's just like crazy to see. I remember seeing that in magazines back in the day and seeing the finished version. I was like, it really felt like, oh, now we're in a different era.
Yeah, and there's like a fucking big logo on the mat in that shit, which is something.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's there, but it
like a
certainly is.
new generation,
Yeah, like a
almost
different color version of the new generation
like
logo.
purple. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I wish we had a playable build of that. I would just like to get hands on it to see what the fuck was going on.
yeah. I was hoping it would be
Can't
in like
imagine it's
that Acclaim archive and stuff like that, but no.
the Acclaim archive that has like all the ECW pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember torrenting those discs, like searching like a crackhead trying to find all the ECW reference stuff. And I think I had to download two different discs, one for the drop that had Hardcore Revolution and one that had Anarchy Rules. And I wish now looking back I would have checked to see if there was any Legends of Wrestling stuff. I just wanted to see the like photo shoot stuff for ECW because there's all the like cool pictures from the Elks Lodge that day. It was the
yeah.
obviously it was done the day that Raven came back, so like it's the Dudley's last night, and you see like Bubba and Sign Guy fucking just sitting there talking. That's kind of cool.
Mm.
I want to see stuff like that.
This is probably the same thing that you saw. It's developmental footage of WWF Warzone, and it's got the red ropes, but it does have the new generation logo on the mat.
Yep.
It's Shawn Michaels against Shawn Michaels.
I really wish we had like playable builds of all of these fucking games.
Yeah, I mean, I wish wrestling games somehow got the same sort of collections as other genres did.
Yeah, it's unfortunately just and what I'm about to say is weird because we're talking about games that are from like the boom period, but it's just not popular enough. There's not a big enough community around it. Like I remember Freem saying to me once, like if the Aki games had the same kind of community around them that like Mario does, we have the deep.
Well, I think too the other aspect is you're talking about licenses for real people and stuff like that, as opposed to Turtles and Marvel and all these different collections. It's a much different thing,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's I don't think it's really possible at all. But like I obviously wish it was, and you could go through the history of these games and have different beta versions to check out and stuff like that. It'd be a really neat thing to see.
A digital Eclipse like WWE like archive game collection would probably fix me.
That would be awesome.
Like if it was everything from 8-bit up to like the N64 and the PlayStation, I would probably plop like the full 59.99 down.
Yeah, me too.
As long as it doesn't have some of the emulation issues that the Mortal Kombat one had.
Yeah.
But I love that set. That'll probably do us for this time. I will be around on Easter Sunday and also the next like 3 weekends after that, I think. So
Easter's next week, right?
yeah, weirdly.
Okay.
Yeah, but like a couple of years ago, I feel like it was later in April. This shit doesn't make any sense.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah, Easter's will work. That
It is.
bunny's near real.
It's Jesus sees his shadow, and it means 3 more weeks of winter or something. I don't know.
I think that's it. Yeah, but
We're
having
cancelled.
said that, oh geez, oh no, the the Republican right is going to come for me. Oh
Yeah.
wait, Totocon has the '07 Champion Carnival on DVD.
Oh,
Yeah, I might have to think about buying that at some point in my life. But until next week, take care. Don't be an asshole, and like seriously, please go play Retro Randy's N64 games for Christ's sake.